Peace. What's up, family? This your brother, Mr. Holipsism. The title of today's show is Africa is just a cemetery for Africans? Question mark. Here's the quote that everybody's been going crazy over. When an African becomes rich, his bank account why am I not able to talk this morning? And this is before I got on the mic. Let me start over again. When an African becomes rich, his bank accounts are in Switzerland. He travels to France for medical treatment. He invests in Germany. He buys from Dubai. He consumes Chinese. He prays in Rome or Mecca. His children study in Europe. He travels to Canada, USA, Europe for tourism. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. Africa is just a cemetery for Africans. How can a cemetery be developed? End of quote. Now, who's in here? Excellent Masculinity, peace. Lady Miss Thing Green, peace. Complex Sin, peace. Nico Xavier, peace. Mr. M, peace. Jamal Omar, peace. Efosa, peace. Black Lily, peace. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, Vladimir Putin didn't make that statement. Everybody keeps attaching this to Vladimir Putin. Putin said this about Africa. There's no source. I'm good at finding sources. I can't find any direct source where this quote came from. No direct quote where it came from. So people are talking about, oh, he told the truth. He didn't say shit. So let's just say that Vladimir Putin didn't make this statement. And until somebody shows me a direct source where the statement came from, not some, oh, I heard or allegedly Vladimir Putin, blah, 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 blah. It ain't that hard. If he's speaking, it's either going to be in text or it's going to be in audio, but it's going to be somewhere where you can find him saying the shit. So I don't believe it. It sounds like an African did it. And also, this is a dead giveaway. This is the part right here that lets you know that this was not Vladimir Putin that said this. Oh, peace. What's up, Jim Dempson? What's up, Mufasa? This part right here. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. You want me to repeat that again? If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. Tell me what's wrong with that statement. Oh, did somebody just come on?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up?
Peace.
Peace, peace. I'm going to mute you for a second because I want to do my preamble and I'm going to bring you and Dundada in, okay?
Okay.
That was Minister DeWoo. Peace to him. What's wrong with that statement, y'all? Thank you, MKT King. Thank you. So you know that this is bullshit. But, I don't care who said it. For now, as long as we can agree that Vladimir Putin didn't say it, because I know people gave me slack over this and say, "Oh, well, why are you acting triggered because of this and da 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 da?" I said I'm triggered because as a person who likes to do research, I like to be accurate. You know what I'm saying? So it bothers me. If I came to you and I said, "Yo, you remember that speech that Martin Luther King gave called "The Ballad and the Bullet," and then you correct me and say, no, that wasn't Martin Luther King. That was Malcolm X. So, whoa, what difference does it make who it was? The speech was true. Yeah, it makes a fucking difference who said it. Come on, man. I can't take that, man. That's one of my pet peeves. It bothers me. But for this, what we're going to do right here, I want to get into this, the quotes and the words themselves. Whoever wrote it. I don't know who wrote this. It was probably another African. But I want to break it down and get into it and see why this gained so much momentum online. And I'm also just very disappointed that people don't do research and try to find out the source of information. When somebody comes to me with something that sounds crazy or outlandish, or something that I wouldn't think that would normally someone would say publicly, I always try to find out where it came from, just automatically. Because I remember this happened before with some Asian dude said something about Africa. Then I found out they had a picture of the Asian dude, and he was actually the head of Sony. The picture was the head of Sony, a guy who died. It's just people just make shit up, man. But anyway, I want to bring in my brothers. How do I do? Wait. How do I unmute him? Oh, that's crazy.
Hello?
How am I? Oh, okay, there you go. How am I? It's not giving me the option to unmute.
I guess you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, you can? Can you
Yeah,
do? Can you unmute yourself, Dendada?
that's what I did.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm like, whoa, what kind of craziness is that? Oh, peace,
You have
gentlemen.
you have partial powers. What's going on, brother?
So, what do y'all think about what I said initially? Because I know it may be just a Holip thing. Maybe it just bothers me. Maybe it doesn't bother anybody else.
You go first, big bro.
Yeah, well, when I first seen it, I was like, okay, yeah, it kind of sounds too thought out as far as the issues that, some Africans or black people see in the community. So it's kind of one of those things like the one of those Willie Lynch letter things. And it's
Mm-hmm.
always thrown out as facts because, oh, it's Vladimir Putin. He said this. Don't hold weight. And then the fact that it says the return to the motherland. I mean, in Africa. Come on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Putin's a little bit smarter than that. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa. Oops.
Right.
Somebody
And
didn't
and
spell check,
and then
proofread.
it doesn't even. It's not like no big article on it. It's just like what I read was just like a paragraph, and that was it. It looked like one of
Right.
those what do you call those fake websites?
Yeah, because if he said that, in what context was he saying it? Was he speaking to
Right.
somebody? Was he being interviewed? Because if he's being interviewed, or if it was an article, then you should have a source.
Exactly.
But I'm beating a dead horse. I don't want to get into that. I think I've explained.
Well, let me just add some context to something that you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a good friend on Facebook, an elder, and his name was his Arabic name was An Nasser Amin, and he went and did a satire on the black community, and in it he talked about basically him having a conversation. Originally, it was with a Jewish man. So the funny thing about it is that article that you were talking about with the Chinese person. Remember that you said was the picture was a Sony executive?
Right.
That was him. That was him. And somebody decided to take. Somebody decided. And somebody's moving around. But somebody decided to take that picture and put it on his basic satire and
Mm-hmm.
spread it around the internet. And then eventually what happened was somebody turned it into a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it had this big cult following, and it was like, this is deep. The Chinese said this about us, and this, and it was my he's may Allah be pleased with him. He's dead at this point, or he passed away. But
Mm-hmm.
nevertheless, that thing made it circle all around Facebook as if it was Chinese people, or first originally Jewish people, or Chinese people saying that about us. But really, it was just my elder venting his feelings about black inadequacies. You know what I'm
Right.
Mm,
saying? And
That's
so,
usually where all of these quotes come from.
right.
yeah. So to me, what I think is kind of crazy is that what I saw is that it drew out the people who are looking for another reason why you should not deal with Africa. Even Putin says it. And my question to you is, let's just say, for instance, Putin did say it, nigga. You are going to follow the words of Putin? You telling me that it's official because Putin said it? And You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't believe that. Like,
But see, that's why they attached it to Putin, because they know how Negroes think.
my God, brother, my God, like we are in a rush to follow Putin. You know what I'm saying? And I sat back and I looked at that for a second. I said, yo, you know what? This is one of the reasons why I feel like, and I always say this, when a new issue comes out, everybody doesn't have to comment on it. You
Thank you.
understand? Everybody doesn't
Yeah.
have to comment. So if Kim Kardashian breaks her toe, we all don't have to have an opinion on it. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that I think that is like so. And I know I'm going to be long-winded here, but we got a little bit of
Knock
time.
yourself out, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to say I'm on the phone with two of my favorite guys in the BIO, being Holip and Mr. Dundada. I
Thank
love
you.
these dudes.
Appreciate that.
Word up. So anyway, it's always a pleasure to be on the phone with you. I was talking to Kyle a little bit earlier. Then I had a little bit of a crisis with one of my daughters, and thankfully I was able to make this. But so I look at the history of social media. Originally on social media, you had to come up with your own content. There was no such thing as memes. There was no such thing as reshared pictures. You had to come up with clever copy that people liked, and there was no sharing or anything like that. And so you had to basically highlight it and re-download it. So it forced people to really be intelligent, and there was not a lot of people on Facebook. Facebook didn't like that. They wanted to make more money. So they made a partnership with Instagram, and they allowed people to now download pictures. Originally, what was crazy was Instagram had resisted this. But I think, if I'm right, brothers, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Facebook ended up buying Instagram or something like that. I'm not sure. But either way, I
I think
know that,
Facebook owns everybody, so you might be right.
yeah, because originally Instagram wasn't down with it, and then next thing you know, I knew Instagram was part of Facebook. So either way, so then you could share pictures. So people was doing that, and when the memes came out, that changed everything. Because now the most ignorant, non-intellectual person, which I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it is what it is, could reshare whatever thoughts or content somebody else had and make themselves look like they, like they were something that they weren't. And to me, what turns me off about that is that it really kills creativity and it kills intellectual growth and development, because now you really don't have to sit down and think about what you're going to put out there. All you have to do is reshare a picture, and we all do it. I do it too. You know what I'm saying? But I try to always follow it up with some thought provoking stuff that I have of my own. And I just want people to know I'm not just a follower or a meme follower, but I actually have some thought process behind what I do and behind my life. So this particular thing right here is dangerous because I think it will be the driving force of a lot of different things going forward. Anybody could drive the masses. If you look at this Putin thing and the fact that people jumped on top of it, anybody could drive the masses just by putting a face on something. You understand?
Hmm.
And it's like the whole argument about the quote unquote cult of personality is still relevant in 2018 because now we saw you don't even have to get a black man for us to follow. You can get a white Russian leader. Putin is a piece of shit. If you really like studied his history and how he
Hmm.
got to be into power, you'd be like, God damn, we ain't got nothing on him as far as gangsterism.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like that's a ruthless dude right there. For you to be wanting to follow what he's saying and stuff like that, because there's a very interesting book, and I forget exactly who the author is, but he authors like the rise of power of Putin. And I don't care how hardcore you are, some of that stuff is really chilling to the bone, man.
Oh yeah, man. But you got to understand something, Minister. And this is a point that I've made many times. The conscious community loves strongmen. They love authoritarianism. They love dictatorships. They
Right,
love it.
right.
That's why I say I don't want to be in a nation with people who's in the conscious community, because they want their idea of a nation is North Korea. Like they think that that's great.
Yeah, exactly. As long as they're in charge, though.
Yeah, if you steal, you should cut your hand off. Like nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? So you into barbarism? Like so
Yep,
that's cool to you?
yep. Yo, so let me attach a military story to this, and maybe Dundala can what you call it could relate to this. If you ever read Mastering the Art of War, because you got the Art of War, which is a black book, I think by Robert Cleary. Excuse me, the English adaptation is Robert Cleary, and then you have the orange one by Robert Cleary, which is the Mastering of the Art of War. And so in this book, it gives an example of a guy.
Oh my God.
You know how popular you is.
Jeez.
so, so in this book, they give you an example of a guy. His name is Sima Jiang Chu, and he takes over. He's hired to take over an army that really wasn't successful, and he was getting their ass whipped. So Sima Jiang Chu comes in with total authoritarian military control, and he sets a time that everybody's supposed to be there. And so what ends up happening is that the king, whose army it is, sends his emissary there to check out what's going on, and the emissary is late. So Sima Jiang Chu says to the officer, "What should happen to this dude? What's the law?" And the guy says, "Well, he should be beheaded." The king is terrified because the king don't want his emissary to be beheaded. Next thing you know, his head is off his shoulders. To me, that's kind of the whole conscious community thing, the slippery slope. Because when you are an authoritarian, it always benefits you if you're in power and these rules don't apply to you. But if it's your child that stole, if it's your girlfriend that did something or whatever, then you're going to try to want the rules to be bent. But in reality, everybody should follow the same rules according to what y'all say. And that's why life is too gray for us to be living in those kind of black and white terms, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I would agree too. Some people don't really like to follow those rules or whatever,
Right.
and to a certain extent, like you said, when it's someone that you care about, oh well, let's look at this other area and
Yep.
try to get around it and stuff. But nah, the rule is the rule.
You know what
I'm back.
So I don't know if you heard my story, but what me and Benzada was talking about this. Basically, this part of the Mastering Art of War where it talks about this officer that takes over an army, and he uses this really strict military kind of regimen where, basically if you're late, you get beheaded, all this kind of stuff. And then he takes the queen's virgins, and basically like the king has a harem of virgins, and he makes them march around. And originally they don't take him seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the king's favorite concubines. One of them like really giggles. And he says to the officer, he says, "Yo, what should happen if y'all don't dance the right way?" The officer says, "You should be beheaded." The king is like, "Wait a minute, these are my women." The girl's head is locked off.
Yeah, we love that shit. We love strong men. We love this. That's why you think they love Killmonger so much. Anybody that's a strong man, we just attracted to. We don't care about freedom of speech, none of that stuff like rights, all that shit. None of that.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at
So
all.
I don't want none of these people to be involved in anything I'm a part of. But peace to Adjoa. Peace to Isaac.
Oh, peace, sis.
Peace to Angie 94565. Man, I haven't seen you in a while. That's the person who won my 3,000 subscriber giveaway.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, peace. But yo, let me get into this quote here. All right. When the African become rich, his bank accounts are in Switzerland. He travels to France for medical treatment. He invests in Germany. He buys from Dubai. He consumes Chinese. He prays in Rome or Mecca. His children study in Europe. He travels to Canada, USA, Europe for tourism. If he dies, he will be buried in his native country of Africa, which we already said how stupid that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Africa is just a cemetery for Africans. How can a cemetery be developed? Now, my takeaway from this is that the person who wrote this is actually, it seems like what their agenda is to try to get African leaders to understand how they should develop their own country.
Okay.
It doesn't look like the person who wrote this. It's like I said, it's the Willie Lynch shit.
Right.
They're trying to guilt the leaders into acting right.
Right.
Good luck with that. It's not going to work. It's going to work just about as successfully as a Willie Lynch letter did.
Right.
But I understand, like I said, this sounds like it was written by an African. It sounds like it was written by like a black person or something who is trying to get their leadership to think a certain way or to behave in a different manner. And they figured, well, if we can attach it to Putin, because he's a leader, then maybe that will guilt them and shame them into acting right.
What's problematic though, brother, is that are you, as being a person that writes the article, are you suggesting that nothing is in Africa? Are you suggesting that nothing is being imported from Africa? Nothing, no resources are there, no nothing. Everything, you just live there and you go out of the country?
Well, keep in
Because
mind, this is what makes me think it was probably written by an American.
it has
Is
to
the
be.
line, if he dies, he would be buried in his native country of Africa. It sounds like somebody who doesn't know shit about
Exactly.
what they're talking about.
Exactly.
So no, they wouldn't
Exactly.
know because they don't think that Africa is a continent.
Right.
Because I hear people say it all the time. Oh, the Africans don't like you. Which ones?
Exactly.
The whole damn continent don't like us? Really?
Mhm.
Like, can you be more specific? But like I said, what I'm trying to get my people, especially the people in my circle, to do is to be precise, be specific. You know.
Mhm.
And another thing is, and this is kind of going off topic a little, but it's something that's another pet peeve of mine is, and people hear me say this a lot, but I want to just explain what I mean. When you have to straw man a person's position in order to debate them, you've already lost the debate.
Right.
And what I mean by straw manning is, don't make assumptions about what I'm saying. Ask me what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why every debate should start off, the very beginning of every debate should be you explaining your opponent's position.
Right.
It should start off that way, because if you don't understand what that person is trying to say, how can you debate them?
Indeed.
Yeah, right.
Because if I can tell you, if I'm going to engage in a debate with somebody, you best believe I know their position.
Well, let's ask this question though: is it true? Because there's people who say it's true. There's people who say it's not true. What y'all think?
Is it true that African leaders do this?
Is it true? Yeah. Is it true that basically the text of this particular manufactured meme is true?
Parts of it is. I would say, like, the part about bank accounts in Switzerland, traveling to France, and all that stuff. Yeah, I would say that's true for
All right.
African leadership. But
Yeah.
I don't think the overall conclusion is true.
Which is what that everything is outside of the country and not inside the country, or
Yeah, and that
the
Africa is a
various different countries.
cemetery, and how can a cemetery be developed? It's not true, because if that's the case, why don't they leave Africa the fuck alone? If Africa, Amos Wilson has said this many times, you can't take shit from people that ain't got nothing.
Right.
So why are you talking out of both sides of your mouth? On one hand, you're saying that Africa is a dirt bag, shithole, this, that, blah, 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 blah. But then on the other hand, you got your paws over there trying to set up bases and do all this other shit. Why are you trying to be a part of a shithole?
Right. And we all
If
know the
Africa
truth.
is a shithole, here's my proposition for all of these motherfuckers in the West and in Europe and every place else. China, all of them. If Africa is a shithole, get out of Africa and leave Africa to the Africans.
Right.
Just get out. Leave it. Because
Yeah.
Right.
according to you, since we're so inferior, since we don't know what we're doing, since we can't control a country, then we should probably just tear the place up and let it rot away, right?
Right.
Nothing will be developed. Oh, wait a minute. Rwanda's developing.
Mhm.
Oh, shit. How'd that happen?
What?
How'd that happen? How Rwanda
Oh.
developed? Wow. I guess that's an anomaly.
Hmm.
No, what it is when you left alone, whenever you leave us alone and we can do what we have to do, because we know that Africa needs some cleaning up.
Yep.
And it's not like this is an African American versus continental African thing, because I'm quite sure a continental African that has a brain in their head will say the same damn thing.
Yep.
So we can both agree that the diaspora African, African American, continental African, that Africa needs to clean up itself.
Right.
And who better to do that than us?
Right.
Yep.
So if your position is that the African is just innately inferior, then prove it. Leave us alone. Let us do our own thing. You get the fuck out of our land, and then let's see what happens.
Well, let me ask you both a question that is along the lines of this that's been burning in my mind based on Facebook activity this week. Why do you think that? And this is both of you, brother Holip, and you, brother Dendada. Why do you think that continental Africans have such a big problem? Some of them, not all of them, have such a big problem with what we're trying to do. Why does it seem like it's an insult and we should, like, Amin Ra,
Ooh,
you
can I
know
answer that?
yeah, no doubt. Well, let me just develop the whole question and
Oh,
then
okay,
drop
go
it
ahead.
because I basically gotta bring my defender outside so I can dump it off to you in the middle. So, so you got Amin Ra who says you guys need to be humble. I mean, it's going as far as saying that what you call it, that his children will marry with Africans and continental Africans and a couple of generations down his bloodline won't be remembered and all this other stuff. Why do you think that they have such a big problem with the BAIO, who proposes to take, to negotiate for land, develop the land, and make it the most technologically advanced Black African country there is? Why do they have such a big problem with this?
Well, my position is that they don't. The people that is crying and bitching and got snotty nose and teary eyes the most is continental Africans that came over to America.
Okay.
Those are the ones who's raising their mouth up and saying the most shit.
Right.
I haven't really gotten resistance from Africans on the continent. If anything, it's been the exact opposite. Like the BAIO's interaction with Africans on the continent has been, yo, we want you to come over, come to our land. It hasn't been, yo, y'all stay over there and you don't bring your Western minds. Nobody's saying that shit. The only people saying that is Africans living in the West.
Right. Yep.
So that's my position. Like, I don't think that we have a problem with the continental African. I'm quite sure there might be some who take that position, but I would say the vast majority of them don't have that position from what I can see or what I've experienced.
Dendada?
Yeah, I agree with Holip, and you got to think about that's like a pocket of people that you're dealing with. Once you get outside of that pocket and start actually talking to other people, and this is one of the things why I like what Dynas does. He actually go and talk to the people and was like, "No, that narrative that y'all hearing is not true. We
Right.
really want y'all to come over. We need that experience." That's like me and Bell was talking to one of the African brothers. He's like, "Yo, we need y'all experience. Can you help me out? I want to develop this, but we don't know, we don't have the know-hows. We just need someone to help train us and so on and
Right.
so forth." So,
Right.
I
That's
mean,
why they hate Dynas' guts.
Yeah, they do.
right,
Which is
That's why they
surprising.
hate his guts.
That's so surprising,
But
isn't
think
it?
about this, y'all. Me and Dynas said this on the last show that me and him was on. They hate me because they say I'm a hypocrite because I haven't been to the continent, and they hate Dynas because he's in the continent. He's going there and actually boots on the ground in Africa. So they
Word.
hate both of us.
Word.
yeah,
Word.
How is that possible?
Well,
yeah,
I know how it's possible, but
Yeah,
go
I know
ahead.
too.
Go ahead, big brother. Finish what you're saying.
yeah. But I mean, it's just one of those things where like some of that, it's like you got to just ignore some of those outliers. Those two right there, they get more attention than the people that's actually talking, like the people
Right.
that really feels want us to come back and help develop and do X, Y, and Z. So it's just like in the conscious community, like you say, like we talking around in circles though, and it's always the same thing. We ain't going nowhere, but like hold up, but we are actually saying that we want to go somewhere. We're trying to do better. And if you keep on talking to those people, that small pocket of people that's saying that we ain't going nowhere, and giving them the platform, then that's what the consensus. That's what everybody else is going to think that's going on when it's just not true. So
Right.
And it always makes you. It should always make your eyebrows raise when you see people turning a molehill into a mountain. It should
Mhm.
always make your eyebrows raise up because, like I've said it, and I've said it before, and you guys, have anybody's in the chat room probably heard it 1,000 times. There's only going to be about 5% out of the 100% of black people here in America that's going to be actively engaged in the process of nationhood. 5.
Right. Right.
So why are 95% of the people who have the people on their side, they want to be here in America, making a big mountain out of this little molehill of Africans who want to go to the continent?
Right.
Why?
And it's fear. To me,
Yeah.
it's fear, number
And
one.
that's some crazy fear when you got 95 niggas with you and you scared of 5 niggas? Those must be some powerful Negroes.
Like D.L. Hughley would say, it's a pack of niggas.
Yeah, they got you shook. That little 5, you got 95 Negroes with you and you scared of 5 Negroes?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's on two levels. I think number one is fear, but number two, and really more deep, is that it's like this, brothers. If you was running a church for a certain amount of years, right, and you did what you was doing, and you had settled into what you was doing, and then your church body said, "Yo, you know what? We're bringing in a younger pastor," and this younger pastor had a reputation. Say like he's from the South, he's from Atlanta or whatever, and he had a mega church down there. He knows how to build stuff. He got that old Southern preacher voice. You know what you're gonna do? Basically, if you like most preachers that I know, you're gonna be like, "Oh man, you're not gonna be able to do nothing here. I've been working here for so long. How dare you come here? You come in with your down south ways, instead of the next thing." And then this dude comes in and he blows your doors off. Gets the congregation to 3 to 4 times within like 3 to 4 months. Has a bigger building fund. Moves out of that church to another place. That is, to me, is the biggest fear of all the Negroes that talk against us. It's people who've been doing the same thing for so many years, and here we come. Where in the beginning they was like, dang, when it was just 10 or 13 of us, nobody is ever going to really join that BAIO, and it's been alive for 6 years, and y'all ain't did nothing, all this other stuff. And then boom, once we finally hit those 1 or 2 curves and begin to explode, now the real fear is there. You're seeing it in people's eyes. Like, these Negroes are actually put us to shame for talking all this garbage for so many years, and now they actually, not only did they have somebody over there, you know what I'm saying, going over there constantly, but they're planning the trip over there and all this other stuff. And to me, that's the greater fear, is that if we actually do this, it's going to make you look stupid, which to me is asinine and really false pride, because it doesn't matter. We are not going to say, well, you can't get down with us because you've been in the conscious community for 600 years. We don't care. We really don't care. All we want is for you to help. Do you know how to pick up a shovel? Do you know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, would you be willing to learn? And for me, one of the most beautiful things of the many things of what we're proposing and what we're developing right now is that I just think that true empowerment and enrichment cures a lot of problems, man. Because people think that black people that is in those streets, I've seen a lot of videos lately with the title Pookie and Ray Ray on it, right? And for me, Pookie and Ray Ray exist because there's a lack of resources and a lack of infrastructure. Bottom line. And you would not want to be Pookie or Ray Ray if you had a lot more alternatives. The problem is you don't. So if we address that, like all the black leaders and movements said they were going to all these years, but did not, you understand? Because think about it like this. During the Garvey era, if you was in the Garvey movement, you was not no Pookie and no Ray Ray. There was no room for that. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't even thinking about that. You was up, you mighty nation. You can accomplish what you will. You was out there selling eggs, detergent, whatever the hell you could in order to help yourself and help the movement. If you was in a nation during the 60s, the 50s, when the height of the nation was there, with Honorable Elijah Muhammad had all of those properties, businesses, or whatever, you wasn't no Pookie and Ray Ray in the nation. And so, of course, we had our deviants, but everybody does. Nevertheless, I just think that true wealth and empowerment, it really solves a lot of problems. And we've been going about this thing wrong for a lot of years. And I don't understand it, because when we transitioned into the 70s and the 80s, it became more about we didn't know God and we didn't have spirituality. And all those first generation leaders, they had God and spirituality, but it was more of a focus on developing empowerment and infrastructure. That's what the BAIO is talking about. But nevertheless, you guys can't do that, and it's just I just think it's fear.
Yeah, and I want to just as an aside, because you reminded me of something as you were talking. We are planning on going to Rwanda, and we're trying to get people who are interested who want to go. So if you're interested in you want to go to Rwanda, well, first you should be a part of the BAIO.
Yes.
So all you have to do is just post in the group, and we'll know who you are. But just putting it out there that we are going to Rwanda. So if you're
Uh-oh.
interested in going to Rwanda, the more people that go, the cheaper it's going to be. So that's how it works. So I'm just putting that out there so everybody knows. So you can, if you want to, no, I ain't gonna say hit me up. I ain't getting all that shit in my inbox. Do it on BAIO Ning's site. Let them know that you want to go to Rwanda. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't put myself out there.
And just to go off of the point that Minister said that about how the new pastor or the minister come in and he takes over, it is the fear of them losing that power because they have that power. Once that power is gone, they feel like they're helpless because their whole thing is built around that power. Once you lose that to someone else, now you probably have a pity party going on. But this is why I like the BAIO because there's not like no one figurehead, one person that's saying all things must come through me, like as if it's God. That's how this whole thing is set up.
As a matter of fact, we encourage people to be self-motivated and be proactive. Like that's one of the things that me and Minister always talk about. Like when we don't do a show, we don't want people sitting back waiting to see what Holip and Minister gonna do. Do a show yourself. Do it. That way we can support it. You know what I'm saying? Like the more people that's putting out content related to nationhood, the better for the BAIO as a whole. You know, you don't want to have like a few people that people can point to and attack because that's what you notice. That's what they did. They tried. They tried to attack me. They tried to attack Kala. They tried to attack. Well, Minister they don't really attack because he's more mature than us. But we're more caustic than Minister is. But they was trying to attack him too. He wasn't immune to it. But the more voices you have talking about nationhood, the harder it is to silence.
Yeah.
The harder
I
it
would
is to
agree with that.
silence. I think did the Minister drop off?
Yeah, I got knocked off for a second.
No.
Oh, okay, he's back.
I got knocked off for a second. I actually went to go check the chat room out and totally knocked myself off. My bad.
No problem. And also, like there's certain to get back to what you were saying about why there's not a need to speak on every damn thing that comes into the media.
Yes.
Like this whole thing with this Congolese woman who said this shit about African Americans. I'm like, why? I didn't even waste a post off of that.
Nah.
For what? Like once I heard her say, "You can give us money, but stay out of our business," I'm like, man, fuck you.
Word
First
up.
of all, where are you? You in the Congo? No, you got your ass right over here. So don't talk that shit to me.
That us stuff. Yep.
Anybody that's talking shit against the BAIO or talking about Africans and diaspora Africans developing any type of communication, connection, contact with the continent, if your ass is over here when you already have a country, you have a country of your own and you decided to come to America, then you disqualified from the fucking conversation as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what these people have to say. You're chilling up here in America, living off of all the work that African Americans have done.
Right. Yep.
I don't hear nobody saying, well, why don't you come over here and be humble to the African American? Have you heard that from anybody?
Nope.
But yeah, we go to the continent now. You gotta be humble. Don't take your Western bullshit over. Well, don't bring your African bullshit over to America. Exactly. Has anybody ever said that? Nobody said that. You can have I love the fact that I can go to a Nigerian restaurant or Senegalese restaurant. I'm not a Ghanaian restaurant. I don't sit back and say, "Oh, don't bring your African stuff over here to America."
Yo, is that like an African spot, that buffet right down the block from your house?
Which one?
It's literally like 2 blocks.
Oh, it's on the corner?
Yeah, son.
I don't know. It might. I don't think it's African.
Yo,
It might be. It might be Trinidadian.
a brother is very, very addicted to that buffet.
Oh, you like that? I go there all the time, son.
Hell yeah, man.
I go
And
there all the time.
He'd be like, "Oh, that's you," because he knows me now. He's like, "Oh, you here from out of town?" I'd be like, "Yup."
Yeah, I go to that spot all the time.
Word. But yo, you know what? Let me just depart from this for a second and say this. I was at the ISC International Security Expo this week. Last week when I came to see you.
Right.
And one of the biggest parts of the expo, two parts that I think that we should look at going forward. One part of it was called InfoSec, which stands for Information Security, and the second
hmm
one was the Unmanned Expo. And yo, they literally like for years the ISC in East was always inferior to the one in the West. It was like because the ISC West basically is in Las Vegas, and from what I heard, it has like 3 floors. They have a whole floor dedicated to just Chinese cameras. It's crazy.
Hmm.
So the one in the East is just basically one floor. It's not well attended by vendors or whatever. But this particular one had the security side, which is I'm into, but then they had the unmanned expo for like UAVs and things like that. And then they also had info security, which is becoming very, very critical. Now I know we have a couple of brothers in the BAIO that study IT and are part of IT. But I would say to any of you in the chat room, if you're in IT and you're thinking about making a career, I would strongly encourage you to go into information security because from what I've been reading and seeing, there's so many freaking hackers out there. And what they do is either they take your network by hostage and you have to pay a ransom to get your network back,
Hmm.
or they hack into your files and they steal your files and you got to pay a ransom for stuff not to be exposed. It's just a litany of different crooked games that's being played that you, on the good side, quote unquote, could counter for a good fee. And it's a good career going forward to get into because that's not a factory that they're going to eliminate. You know what I'm saying? And I had a
Hmm.
discussion, like I was fixing an intercom in this one high-end apartment complex. And, in most high-end apartment complexes in state New York, it's two people that live there. It's Asians or Indians. It's not no white people. And it's damn sure not no black people. And so homegirl decided, like, she was very happy to see me, and she decided to make me a coffee and a damn strawberry jam sandwich. So I was like, I was like, at first I kept saying no. She was like, I want to make you some peanut butter. I was like, nah. She was like, oh, come on, they insist. Well, how about strawberry? I was like, all right, I'll take the strawberry jam. So, so we sat down. I'm drinking my coffee, eating my jam sandwich, and she was telling me, she was like, in my country, she was basically saying that we do, your telemarketing and things like that, and basically we work from like 7 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Hmm.
And she said we basically get anywhere from $25 to $30 a day. I said, God damn, no wonder there ain't no factories in America no more.
Hmm.
When you can have, and she said it's armies of people in India doing this. So when you can have like entire enclaves of people going to work every day for 30 freaking dollars a day, why would you have a factory in America? And so therefore, going forward, if you're part of the BAIO and you're thinking about sustainability as far as economic development and your career and how you're going to feed your family or even feed yourself, you really have to take a long look at yourself and say, is what I'm doing for a living, is that going to be eliminated in the next 10 to 15 years? You got to ask yourself this. And to me, becoming number one, a person that's part of information security. Number two, becoming a person who writes code. Me and Warlord talk about this all the time. Who writes the coding for the software that controls UAVs and unmanned robots, basically, and unmanned vehicles. If you're on that edge and you get on that edge right now and you buckle down, imagine where you're going to be when this whole thing explodes in a couple of years. Because it's not going away. It's not no fad that just came out and they're going to decide it's corny. We're going to move on to the next thing. It's only going to get bigger and bigger. The day's going to come where buzzing in the air is not going to be freaking insects. It's going to be robots every single day. It's going to be
Yo,
normal for
Minister.
you.
Black Lily says she was considering a cybersecurity graduate program, but the advisor said it would be difficult to break into the field without prior background. You want to address her?
Yes, sis. Here's the thing. I'll tell you this from personal experience. White people and some black people will always try to stop you from doing something. You know what I'm saying? They will always try to stop you doing something because it's a threat to them. When I came into the electronic security industry, they told me that it was going to be difficult for me to break into that. Now, mind you, my dad does this. But what I knew is that all I needed was a couple of inside contacts, and I knew I could prove myself. Sis, absolutely go into it. Please go into it. You will eventually meet somebody who will be the doorway or the gatekeeper. They will let you in, and you'll be a part of it. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easier to break into an industry now when you got LinkedIn and all of these other professional job sites. All you have to do is go on LinkedIn and connect to as many people in the cybersecurity field that are influencers right now. Also, let me just say this to all of y'all. There's not enough people in these industries. There's not enough people. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that they would love for you to graduate school and come into the industry because there's not enough people. There is an entire industry, and you brothers could probably bear witness to this, but there's an entire industry dedicated to people just looking for people who want jobs. They call them headhunters. And if you're on LinkedIn, back when I was actually looking for a job, I used to get hit by no more than 4 to 5 people a month trying to steal me for another company. And they don't give a shit who you work for. They could care less. They come through, listen, we offering this kind of package. Nigga will move you. Like, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what you want to do, sis, by all means, go into it. There's a lot of money into it. And trust me, there's a way around all of that stuff, that whole gatekeeper stuff. Yesterday, when it was a good old boy network with just white people controlled it, yeah, I could see that you still would have got in, but it would have been difficult. But today, germane kind of to this article that we were talking about, where it says, you know, African leaders have, you know what I'm saying, banks in Switzerland or whatever. The world is flat today. You know what I'm saying? The world is flat. I don't mean like a flat earther, you know, a flat world with a dome. But what I mean by saying the world is flat is that with networking and internet connectivity with the World Wide Web, basically there's really no barrier other than the barrier that's in your mind. So essentially, you could get into any industry that you want to if you make the right moves. And all it takes, plus in the BAIO, we have a couple of high-level IT people that are on conference calls sometimes. They can pull a couple of strings to get you in. And that's another thing I love about the BAIO. Anybody that want to get in my industry, they all they got to do is contact me, and I'll help them. I know how to get them in the industry. It's not I think I do, I know I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the environment that we want to foster. So if that's what you want to do, listen, there's many different ways into it, but I say go full speed ahead. I'm sorry, I know I'm talking too much.
No, not at all.
I just get passionate.
Another thing I did want to say about the Rwanda thing. There is no BAIO fund that's going to pay for you to go to Rwanda, because ain't nobody paying for me to go. So I hope nobody got that in their mind. Get your weight up and pay for your trip like everybody else is going to do.
Nah, you're wrong. That's going to come out the BAIO building fund.
Oh yeah, okay. You're going to be stuck in the airport with that.
Or maybe if you show us your report card, we'll give you a BAIO scholarship if you get all A's.
You know what? I can't really blame people, because this is the way black organizations have done. They make it seem as if they got to do everything for you instead of getting people to be empowered to do it for themselves.
Word.
You know, when we go out and we meet as an organization with our members in the local chapter, we all pay for our meals.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There's no BAIO fund, no restaurant fund, and all this bullshit. We are just individuals, working class individuals, who feel that there's the time for land infrastructure nationhood is now.
Word. That's it.
That's it. So all of this other stuff that you used to be dealing with, you're not going to get it here. You're going to have to be a self-starter. If you have an industry that you're in, like I said, Minister Dawood is not shy about his industry. He doesn't wait for somebody to tell him what to say or how to promote what he does. He just does it.
Yep.
And that's how you should be with any industry that you're in.
Word. But I will say though, like, the thing is, going forward, what I'd like to see more of the BIO, and I know I'm one of the biggest offenders because I'm always busy, is I would really like to see more mentoring in certain industries because there really was nobody there other than my dad to mentor me into my industry. But I just was so the thing about the brothers and sisters for me is I was so gangster about getting into my industry because I was just tired of the low wages I was making as just a locksmith. So I kind of had motivation, but I still needed a lot of help. I feel like if you get there, it is your job as a black person to help another black person in the industry because everybody else does that. But the
Mhm.
problem is that, like, for instance, I say this when I was at the ISC, finally one brother seen me because I showed up with my suit and everything like that. One brother seen me. He was like, "Oh, this is Sharp Suit," and we clapped hands. And even him, he said something to me. He got the hell away from me. All the other black people looked at me and they was like, "Get away from me, yo." And it's sad because what happens is that black people want to be the only one doing this. So in other words, if you're like, let's just say you're in you're like a a electrical engineer, and you see another black electrical engineer. When these two see each other, there's a hostility because I'm the only one here that's that, and that gives me a certain level of prestige and false pride. So I can't acknowledge that you're here, and vice versa. That's got to stop. That's got to stop because if we don't look at it as if we all don't win, not one of us wins. I don't think we'll ever defeat what's being said in this particular article. Do you?
You know what is really an excellent example of what you're talking about? YouTube.
Right,
YouTube, there really is no competition.
right,
There's no competition. You're not competing with other YouTube channels. Most of the time, like if you have like let's just say you have like a movie review channel. There's a lot of channels that review movies. And what they do is they usually team up with each other. They'll go on each other's channels. Like when people travel to other states, they'll visit and they'll show up on another person's channel.
hmm
It's more of a community than anything else,
right,
you know?
right.
And I
I
would
like,
love like if there were other groups that were actually about nationhood and were about connecting with the continent, we usually hook up with them.
right,
Like us and Dynas hooking up was pretty organic.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's for Africa, who's for nationhood, who's for empowerment, we're gonna be if we're in that same universe, we're gonna hook up,
right, right.
and it's no
Yep.
competition.
And the thing about Dynast is that he just accepted us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't like, oh, you guys this and you guys that. He just accepted us. And then I be, because a lot of y'all are not privy to the private conversations, but Dynast will ask Holip like every other day, Holip, you down for a show today? You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
love that. I love him for that. I really do. Like, he is not that kind of guy that I got my channel and I'm pushing my narrative and F y'all. Like, he's just not that kind of guy.
This is what
And
I keep trying to explain to people, brother, because there's search for Uhuru is in the BAIO.
yep, yep.
And don't forget Information Man show. Don't
Yeah,
forget him.
yeah, him too. Yes, sir. That good brother too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's in the
Definitely.
BAIO. No
Yep.
conflict whatsoever. We're not taking over their brand. They can still have their brand.
Word up.
We all
Word up.
work together.
And we reshare his shows on Facebook to give
Yep.
him promotion because that's our brother.
Right.
That is our brother, you know. But I think that a lot of the other quote unquote nation building groups they've been around for a long time. That's why they don't like us, is because they feel like what are you guys gonna do that we haven't done, which is stupid.
Well, I'm a little bit harsher when it comes to that, and like I said, I've gotten into it with some people over this, and I'm gonna stay strong to what I'm saying. I think a lot of people were attracted to what I was saying, and forget I'm not even gonna talk about the BAIO, but just me personally and my history and my experience with dealing with the conscious community. I think that attracted a lot of people to my channel.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is true.
Hmm.
I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that the conscious community has been making progress all these years. I'd be lying.
Yep.
That's a lie. The
Yep.
conscious community has turned away a lot of people that had good intentions about doing something for black people and made them bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Made, like I said, there's black people that don't even like black coffee no more because of conscious community.
Yo, y'all think that's an exaggeration, but it's not.
Yeah.
It
So
really
I'm
isn't.
supposed to sit up here and give you props or honor you like you're some fucking respect to get the fuck out of here. I don't want nothing to do with those niggas.
Mm-hmm.
And if you claiming that, claim it. Fine. If that's what you want to get down with, you get down with it. But don't come to Holip with that.
Word.
And I hope I'm clear with that. I hope
Word.
there's no vague when it comes to that. I don't fuck with those dudes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yo, and oh man. I don't know, but I guess getting back to the article there,
Mm-hmm.
again, I would say this. I don't really have a problem. Let me say this and be very careful how I say it. When I first saw the whole, he has banks in Switzerland, he has this, that, and the next thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with that because, like I said, digitally, the world is flat. You know what I'm saying? And brothers and sisters, please don't think I'm a flat earther because I'm damn sure not. me and Belle joke about that all the time, and I always be like, "Yeah, it's flat with a dome," so I can make her laugh. But you know, them fools is crazy. But I'm saying digitally is flat. So if that's where you want to put your money, that's where you want to put your money. If you want to vacation someplace else, you can. What, they supposed to stay in Africa for the rest of their life? You understand? So I just think that the way this article is skewed, you could look at it from one perspective and say, oh, well, they want us to develop Africa, which we should. But at the same time, you develop it, but you do trade with other people and you go visit other people. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I don't know. I just look at the whole thing and I say, first of all, we all know that any herb or plant that is on the continent has much more resources, vitamins, minerals, and natural things in it than anything born anyplace else. So when you want to try to say, well, you know, you try to push the narrative that nothing is in any of the countries or provinces in Africa, it's all in someplace else, that's false. We all know
It's
that's false.
objectively false.
Yeah.
It's not
Without a
even an
doubt.
arguable point that it's false. Because if Africa has nothing, why are people over there trying to snatch up what they don't? If
My
you don't,
God.
you have gold, you have diamonds, you have magnesium, you have all of these minerals and materials and all of this stuff in Africa, but yet you claim that Africa is a shithole. Well, if it's a
Mm-hmm.
shithole, get the fuck out of it.
Exactly. Never go again. Never even do
Don't
business there
go.
again.
Don't go over there. Withdraw all your troops. Withdraw all of your presence on the continent and get out of the shithole.
Mm-hmm.
And leave the materials there too, because that's nothing according to you.
Right.
So leave the gold, leave the diamonds, leave all the material, all the oil, everything. Leave it
Yep.
right there because Africa is a shithole that doesn't have anything. And you hear niggas saying this shit.
Word.
That's the
Word
thing
up.
that's real. I can understand a white person saying it because they trying to play that bait and switch bullshit with you. I
Right.
understand where they're coming from. A nigga is gonna say that?
Word. Because we all know that the diamonds in America, they come from a coal mine down in the South, right? Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like they come from a coal mine in the West or something like that. Come on, y'all. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Negroes. Negroes is the biggest anti-Africans out here. And then you know what really kills me? Like, I hate that we even getting into this, but I have to. The premise behind the whole "we was here first" crew
Oh Lord.
is that being African is like a conspiracy that the white man came up with. And maybe you can enlighten me on this, Minister. What have you heard? Like being African is something that the white man made us identify with Africa so they could what exactly?
Essentially, you cannot claim your nationality and you cannot claim your natural homeland, which is here. So in other words, the you know, and I heard this. This is the funniest one of them all to me. All of those professors like Henry Louis Gates, um, what's the other dude's name that came up with cognitive dissonance? Um, I forget what his name was. You know, John Henry Clark. All of these people are funded by the government so that you can turn your face away from your natural land, which is America, and turn it towards Africa.
I noticed they wasn't saying that shit when John Henry Clark was alive.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I just started hearing
When
this in the last 10 years.
Chancellor Williams, when Ivan Van Sertima and all of these guys, how come you wasn't kicking that shit when they was alive? Now
Oh my God.
you wait till they dead. Now all of a sudden you an Indian.
Right.
But the reason why I raise that point is about them saying that it's a conspiracy. So that means that the white man has been glowing about Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been nothing but positive propaganda about Africa from the white establishment, right?
Right. Right.
That's what's been going on in America.
Right.
They've been blowing up Africa. Like, oh, this is the place. Oh, Africa is the shit.
Where the commercials show a very positive view of it, you
Right.
know.
That's the so what's the propaganda? So you tell me, little Miss John Henry Clark preaching to about 30 people in a hall in
Mhm.
Brooklyn.
Mhm.
That's the propaganda to get you to turn away from your native homeland here. You know what?
Word.
At this particular point, if you still believe in that shit, you are a fucking asshole. You don't have the brains of a good hunting dog if you believe that shit.
Word.
And I know you
Oh
don't believe it because you ain't. Is there a BAIO version of the Aboriginals? Where's that at?
no, not at all. Not at all.
Like where they meet up on a regular basis, where they constantly in contact with each other, trying to plot how they're gonna get their country back from the white
Wait,
man.
no, no,
Does
no.
that
I'm sorry.
exist?
I'm sorry. It does exist.
Where?
It's, dude, dude. It exists in Washington D.C. That is a big faction of that in Washington D.C. There was one dude who was actually a Muslim who was at the same time running around promoting that, but that fell apart. Um, Listen, there's a lot of people who don't want to really do the work and have been. This is the thing though, and I guess we got to get into this for a second. This is the number one reason why Polite was able to rob and steal from so many people because he was jacking that we're from here, even though he was
Uh-huh.
teaching on Egypt, even though he was going to 125th and debating people about Egypt and about Kemet and things like that. Behind closed doors with his business dealings, he was like, "Yeah, we originally from Egypt and Kemet, but that's why you got to claim your nationality here." And people were not intelligent enough to not put two not put two and two together. And I'm sitting there like, what is wrong with y'all? Like,
Well, I gotta plead ignorance to polite because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm being God. This is the God's honest truth. Y'all might not think that this is true. I haven't heard one syllable out of this dude's mouth.
I'm sorry, I can't say the same.
So I don't know. I can't even say yay or nay. He's like a non-factor to me. And most of these people within the conscious community I haven't really heard except by name because it just
Right.
floats around. Like you hear Polite and what's it, Young Pharaoh, another person I never heard.
Not you really.
Um, who else? Who else is there?
Well, you've heard Sarah Susan Fetty.
Well, yeah, Seti was one of the originals. So I like if he came up under that time, then I probably have heard about him. But
Right.
anything after that, I really just tuned out.
Well, it all started turning into kind of a joke, quite after after a couple of years. But I mean, the reality of it though is that brother, I hate to say it to you, there is very much a group of them that meet just like the BIO. It's not as coordinated and organized as we are, but they
Hmm.
do meet up and they have their little powwows
They
and
go to the teepee. Wait, they got a teepee? I was joking about the teepee, but they actually got one. I'm impressed. If they got a teepee, I'm impressed.
I don't think they necessarily have a teepee, but maybe they think the teepee is in spirit.
They got a peace pipe. Like if they got a TP and a peace pipe, that'll be the equivalent of a dirt road for me. If I see them have like if they get together in one big giant TP and all of them are smoking peace pipes, that'll shut Holip up. I'll be like, oh shit, these dudes is real.
Nah, but you gotta. Here's the one thing I would say in all honesty. You gotta remember the ones that you see literally with Indian headdress or whatever. Those niggas is crazy. Like most of the people who subscribe to this, they look at those people as kind of mongoloids, and they
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? They
because
kind
they
of
don't have their hair straightened.
exactly. So they kind
Who's
of
that
more.
dude? Is there a dude? There's a dude I keep hearing about called David Calloway. Is that his name? David Calloway?
Oh, I'm not familiar with this guy.
Does anybody know who that is? Like, it's somebody who's kicking this Native American, indigenous, rich Aboriginal bullshit. I think his name is Calloway.
I'm not familiar with this guy.
Oh, you don't know him? All right. I
Yeah,
was going to ask you if you
that's a
knew who he
blessing.
was.
That's a blessing. I finally found somebody I didn't know.
Oh, Dane Calloway. Dane Calloway. Does he? Yo, anybody in the chat room? Is that nigga? Does he
Oh
have his hair
shit! I've been
straightened?
I've been talking the whole time, and I didn't even know I was on mute.
I was wondering what happened to you.
Or me
Yeah,
too.
I
So,
was wondering where's
yeah.
done that.
what was you
Dane
saying, big brother?
Calloway. No, I
Dane
was
Calloway.
saying, yeah,
You know
Dane
him?
Calloway. Yeah, I
You
know
heard it?
him. I know of
What
him.
does he look
Yeah.
like? Does he have like Is his hair straightened? Does he have a headdress
No,
on?
no.
Look like a nigga?
He, yeah.
They all do, bro.
So
That's
you
the
look
funny
like a
part
straight
about
up
it.
nigga, but you talking this Native American shit. Okay, that is some hysterical shit, boy.
Yo, but what I'm trying to tell you is this is the funniest part of it. They are trying to say that the ones that the the ones that look like Indians, they're the imposters. The real indigenous guys are nappy head, dark skin, and the ones that look like mongoloids is the ones that enslaved them.
Right. It's
Yo,
it's amazing how that works out, right?
yeah. So
And
everybody,
I was personally done with Farrakhan when he came up with that bullshit. Like I saw a video of him talking that. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to the original topic because I'm gonna start getting pissed off.
I can imagine the chat room is probably going crazy right now.
I'm
But
gonna get pissed off talking about that bullshit.
but either way. So I guess because I don't know exactly which direction you want to go, but I just want to put a cap on my earlier segment by saying this, that going forward as a nation, we brothers and sisters really got to get into that part of the game, which is the coding game, the unmanned vehicle game, as well as the information security game, because that going forward is going to be a big industry globally, worldwide, and of course, being having a nation on the continent of Africa, on the continent of our ancestors, we will have inherent advantages, and there's going to be certain resources we have. But I think that intellectual property wise, if we can go over there with enough people who have that kind of skill, that would be an early form of resource and trade for us.
Hmm.
I don't know what you think. What's your thoughts?
I agree. Not much I can say to that.
Dendada?
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely agree. One thing as far as on my part of the industry, where people believe it or not, that is the construction industry, as far as equipment operators,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lack of equipment operators in here in the States and abroad too. So
Tell them.
yeah,
Tell them,
and
bro.
it's and just people to get back to like building stuff or just being, I don't know if it's like something that just it had to happen within the last 10 to 15 years, that everybody just started thinking that they need to be lawyers and doctors and stuff, because
Right.
they just abandon all of the vocational skills, and it's like basic shit too.
Right.
Like, come on, like, and the industry is hurting. Like right now, I can literally get out and find a job, a side job, getting paid $20 or $30 an hour just as an equipment operator, plus the skills that I have,
You
and
know what
just to
that
bring
comes
that.
from, Dundada, right?
What's that?
You see all these movies. Every fucking movie that I see that comes out is some black chick in a fucking conference room with a PowerPoint presentation. Like every movie, like that's the only fucking career that's available to us.
No, this is
Right.
true though. This is true.
Every movie, they got another movie with the chick from Empire, whatever that thing is. I
Oh,
forget her
Taraji.
name. Yeah,
Taraji.
Taraji.
she's
Yep.
yet another movie where she's a top flight executive in a corporation. Like that's the only goddamn thing that we can do.
Word.
How many times are we gonna see that?
I know. I
Oh,
be.
I'm sorry, y'all.
What's up?
Tyler Genesis is in the house.
I don't
What's
see
up,
him.
Kyla? I
Peace to
seen him.
Isaac. Peace to Richard. Peace
Oh,
to
he's in the chat
Mister.
room.
Yeah, and peace to Chief Drino. I was on his show like in the morning. He was in the wee hours in the morning. I was on. We were talking about this same topic.
Oh man, you gotta send me the link. I want to check that out.
Yeah, yo. Actually, yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll go to his page. I don't think he'd be able to post a link in here.
Well, peace, big brother. Thank you for having my brother on your show.
Yeah, no doubt.
But nah, to speak to what you and Dendada was saying, that's what I be trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't understand. Like most of these high tech industries or even low tech industries, they don't have enough people. They don't
Nope.
have enough people, and not even listen, it's all across the color barrier. Like white people is not interested and black people is not interested. And all you got to do is apply yourself to get these skills and get a piece of paper with letters behind your name. And this is something I want to hear y'all opinion on. But for years, this is another thing that I would say I don't fuck with the conscious community for. For years, the conscious community has poisoned us about getting certified and getting letters behind our name. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, it's like, you know how the preacher used to mount the rostrum and be like, you know, you got a PhD and that means piled higher and deeper. You got a BA and that's all that other stuff. And you hear that, or BS, it's a BS degree. And so we were raised off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we began to look at having some kind of letters behind your name as you being a house nigger and that you basically just kiss up to the white man. And so what ends up happening is your brother or sister that have not a thing to do with the conscious community, they went and got those letters behind their name. They made money. Then they did your.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
He had a phone call come in.
Oh, it was Kyler calling me. I think he wants to be a part of the thing. But either way, what I'm saying is that if you go out there, you don't even have to get a college degree. If you go out there and you just get basic certifications, like Dada was saying, there's $20, $30, $40 an hour waiting for you. Because the thing is that the good thing about America is regulated, and the bad thing about America is regulated. Mm-hmm. And so essentially for years, white people kept us out of industries because of regulations. They basically said, that was the way they raised the bar. They said, nah, you got to have this kind of certification to be a part of this industry. Right, brother?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so now their children is too lazy to get those letters. And so now you can laugh their children by getting them letters yourself. And for me, I'm just a natural book reader and I can remember stuff. And so because I'm a book reader and I can remember stuff, it is easy for me to get certifications. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because when I was younger, I really didn't like school. I really didn't like, I like comic books and reading, but I didn't like school. But now that I'm older, I have this thing, and it's the truth. They'd be like, oh, so you think you're going to pass that test? I'd be like, shit, man, that test is scared of me. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe that because I'm going to pass on the first try. Like, all my white counterparts, they'd be like, man, it took me 3 or 4 times to pass that test. You know why?
Man, I have zero test anxiety.
Exactly.
Zero.
Exactly.
Like, what? Don't people realize all a test is going over shit that you've already went over? So what the fuck you so nervous about?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. College here with us now.
Well, there ain't gonna be no new shit on there. It's not gonna be something on the test that you have not covered.
And in addition to that, big brother, it's not about even what you studied. It's about learning how to take a test. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you know how to take a test, it really doesn't matter what you learn. Once you learn the structure of the given test, because every test has a different way of trying to outsmart you, you can get, a high grade. Because you could be knowledgeable in a field, but you just don't understand what they're trying to do to outsmart you. It's like playing chess. So what you need to do, unfortunately, black people, you need to pay a fucking instructor to teach you how to pass that test. And then once you do that, you'll pass it. And I have to use curse words to say that because we be on that, I ain't going to pay for it unless my company pays for it. Nigga, your company ain't never going to pay for it. They don't want to see you succeed.
You know what that reminds me of? Negroes who get crackheads to do their haircut for them because they don't want to spend the money to go to a real barber. So you save $5 on your haircut, but you look busted. You look like an idiot. Just pay the money and get the shit done right.
I must confess, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anybody with a pair of clippers, they'll let do their hair as long as they give them a discount, and they come out looking like an idiot.
Word up.
Here's the thing that I think we talked on this. I think a couple of shows ago about using your actual degree if you want to go that route. You have your degree and you're trying to help your community. You can teach to a certain level of that degree. Right. You go to Africa, you can teach that level up until a certain level of that degree.
Right.
Like I said, I got construction management and it all sounds all good, but it's all 90% of what I know and what I do is on the field. It's
Yes.
hands on.
Yes,
So
sir.
knowledge is just saying, hey, I know I don't need to cut 10 feet this way because this will happen. Or, you know what I'm saying? I know that. I
Right.
can't cut this short. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm building something for a dike and it have to be a certain amount of pitch, no more than 3-to-1 or 2-to-1 or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Those things you learn as you go. But 90% of the stuff that you do is on site.
Yes.
And I can sit there and PowerPoint you to death, and you're not going to get it until you get there on site. That's
Right.
kind of like how you do with your security stuff. I'm pretty sure all that technical information is great, it's knowledgeable, but when you ask somebody, all right, now, and they never touched it, now go
Mm-hmm.
out there and I want you to build me, set up some securities and hook them up and use X, Y, and Z pipes and stuff to as your base or whatever the case may be.
My God, bro, I can use
They
myself as an example. Before I came in my industry, I spent at least, I want to say, $2,000 to $3,000 on strictly certification. So I literally had like a book full of certifications before I even touched the wire. Holy
right,
shit, I was lost for 2 years.
right,
Holy shit, I was lost for 2 years. I mean, lost. Like, I didn't think I was going to make it for 2 years. And then all of a sudden click. But what I will say to you, though, and I know you'll agree with this, is once you get it on site, whatever it is you studied, it makes more sense.
yep,
And word up, if you did study it, it puts you above those who just have boots on the ground knowledge. Because
yep,
they have the practical application, but when you don't have theory, to me, what theory does is theory helps you figure out unforeseen problems. You
yep,
understand? So if a problem comes up that is out of your normal, that you've never seen before, and nobody around you has seen before, y'all are fucked. But
mm-hmm,
if you actually study the theory and the ideas behind the origin of your industry, history and all that other stuff, when stuff comes up, you be like, oh, I seen that. I remember I read a book on this, and you figure it out. And people around you be like, how did you know that? And you'd be like, because I know the theory. And to me, that is the separation between me and most white dudes in my industry. They basically are like, I don't need that. I just need to go out there and do it. And no, you do need that because stuff is gonna come up that you never thought of.
yep. And majority of the stuff that we do, I mean, what we do every day is problem solve.
Yes. Yes.
Your whole thing is problem solving. So if you have no inkling of trying to solve your basic day to day problem, you just need to sit off to the side.
Word
We
up.
need somebody that's going to be proactive and want to learn and have an idea of how to solve basic problems.
Yep.
And also somebody that knows how to work safely, because when you're talking about construction and all this other problems
Exactly.
that you got, you can end up like decapitating somebody or getting somebody's limbs taken off if you don't know what you're doing.
Hell
Yep.
yeah. Hell yeah. And well, but there's one reality that we all can't escape. You're gonna get hurt. It's not an if. It doesn't matter how safe you are. You are going to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of your safety minimizes the damage because what was it
Right.
like? I want to say 2 months ago when it was warm, I was putting up these cameras and I drove a drill bit right through one of my fingers, plunk. And
Whoa.
Damn.
I was just like, okay. I put tape around it. I went back to work. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that I am very careful. Like I'm the only one on most jobs that wears my goggles. You know what I'm saying? My ear protection, my hat. But accidents do happen.
Mm-hmm.
Accidents do happen, and the safety training is to prevent it from being an accident. For me, is running the drill bit through my finger, boom. But an accident for a dude that there's a dude I know that was on one of the jobs, and he basically put his drill up in the ceiling, and for whatever
Mm.
reason, he liked talking. Don't you know that drill came down and bonked him on his eye,
Whoa.
severed his eye socket and some nerves in his eye socket, and then he tried to get the company to pay for that.
Wow.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, man,
crazy.
you gotta be careful. Like you said, I mean, you don't want to have the whatever the accident be catastrophic,
Yes, yes, yes.
Something you can walk away from is nice.
And in addition to that, you don't know other people's behavior sometimes. So in other words, like I met a guy that worked for Coca-Cola, and he was on a ladder trying to take some Coca-Colas down, and the dude on the forklift took him out. Boom, took the ladder out, and broke his back
Mm.
and everything. You
Whoa.
you just don't know. You really don't know. You could be on the ladder, and it could be 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock come and the wind change and blow your ladder the hell off. Whoa, you, stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? Stuff happens. Now, mind you, you would take all measures to secure that ladder, but on a nice day, there's certain conditions that you secure a ladder, and on a windy day, certain conditions that you secure a ladder. And so you just never know. But, some people is a little bit more crazy than others. And I think sometimes it has to do with your age, because I've seen dudes like jump from ladder to ladder, and I'm not doing nothing crazy like that. I'm not doing nothing even remotely crazy, but there's flagrant violations of safety that people do every day that I just scratch my head. Like, I've seen people, and Dundad, I know you've seen this before. I see people grind steel with no glasses on, and I'm like, dude, you're sending out millions of shards from this steel. One of those is not going to go in your eye. And see, I'm lucky that blessed that I had a father who's big on safety when I was younger. My father would scream on you. I mean, scream on you and wring your neck if he saw the least violation. So my father would say to me, he'd be like, look, if you want your eyes, you will wear eye protection. And I like to read, man, so I ain't taking no chances. I'm not taking no chances, man.
Yeah. But yeah, where's Kala?
He's here. I think maybe he doesn't know how to unmute his
He on mute. Oh, he just unmuted now. He's going in and out.
No, you got that Radio Shack on you now? Audiotronics.
You there, Kala?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah,
oh yeah, we hear you better.
So what's your thoughts, bro?
Oh no, first thing I want to talk about was that Holip was saying about the sister and the executive. I'm so sick and tired. I mean, look, nobody loves our sisters more than the Kala does.
Uh-oh. It's going out. The audiotronics is not working.
I think he's driving, though.
Try something.
There you go. We can hear you now.
Okay. He's going in and out, though.
Let me try something.
Are you driving?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, be careful, man. No.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now I will say this because I work in the corporate world. My sister's above me in our agency and everything like that, and I know there's a lot of black women out there. They're doing that thing, especially in the healthcare. I understand that. But that's so annoying. Where every time you turn on the television, it's always some black woman. She's always in a corporate environment.
Yeah, it kills me.
It's like that's not the reality. You know what I'm saying? That's not the reality. They're trying to, and there's like so many black men that are in corporate America, but in the movies and the popular culture, it's never portrayed that way.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing that's happened. There's 2.5 million black men in the upper class, and the black men are actually winning in America right now, males, because of organizations like the BAIO. We're going into stuff that people that abandon, skilled trades. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And private investment, all these things, real estate, whatever we're doing. Black men are doing. Somehow over the last 10 years, we started winning again. Because we're not going seeking that corporate job anymore. Which leads us to nowhere. One thing good about black people and black men in America. Let me give you an example. I had this client of mine that I called him. He wanted one of my plans for a company called Virginia Premier, right? Mm-hmm. And anyway, I called him. I said, "Brother, so we can set up an appointment." And he called me back and said, "Well, I don't have the Medicare Part B." I said, "How you don't have Medicare?" He goes, "Well, I still work." And I said, he goes, "What do you do?" I go, "What do you do?" He goes, "Oh, I work down the shipyard." Now, if you know anybody who lives here on the eastern seaboard of the United States, between Baltimore and say Charleston, right? Black men dominate without the shipping and the shipbuilding and the ship repair and everything like that. Without generations of African American men doing hard, dangerous work, this whole economy was shut down. But I bet you nobody on this panel probably even knows that. You know what I'm saying?
Don't know what
the history of black men in the shipping industry. Everywhere from the shipyards and everything, and from Baltimore, a lot of people don't even know. Do you know that there were free black men who owned shipbuilding and ship repair business during slavery times in Baltimore? You know what I'm saying? People don't even know that. And some of those shipping companies migrated to Liberia and built shipping fleets over there in Sierra Leone. People don't know that history to this day. So I asked my brother, I said, like, he goes, I'm not retired yet. I'm still working. I said, let me ask you a question. Yeah, I said, how's it feel? You say you've been down there for 35 years. He said, yeah, I love my job. I put my kids through college and stuff like that. I said, you know something? I said, you're my unsung hero. He goes, why you say? I said, look, you're down there doing hard work. But when you look at society has so much contempt for the black man. They tell us we're nothing. They tell us we don't build anything. They tell us we're lazy and everything. I said, but who is down there with you on those bros? Probably ununionized. He goes, yeah, we're all black men down here. And you guys are down there doing the hardest, most dangerous work, and nobody, not even your own community, appreciates what you do. You know what I'm saying?
That's because across the board, we always blowing up fucking little molehills and making them into mountains. We don't ever but we never do it in a positive way. It's always like a negative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, what you're talking about is the positive.
Right.
That's the positive molehill. We don't blow up the positive molehill. What we blow up is the fucking negative molehill.
Right.
Like the epidemic of black men wearing dresses in the community.
Yeah.
Let me ask all
black
of y'all.
On black crime.
Let me ask all of y'all. How many black men have you seen in a dress this week?
None.
Not in real life.
But it's an epidemic, though.
Yeah. And when I do see him, I feel sorry for him.
Do you see him? I haven't seen one.
No,
it's been about a month, and I have not seen a black man
down
in a dress.
Down here, you don't see that, but it's there. But saying there's no threat to me. You know, what I'm saying I feel bad.
And that was it one? One?
Probably years ago. You know, what I'm saying.
See. That's you can't get no little of a molehill than that. But yet I'm looking on Facebook and I'm thinking, damn, it's like The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to go outside because I might get hit by a fucking piece of lingerie or something.
Yeah, but you see, the whole thing is this is another thing. What I don't seem to understand. I don't understand. Maybe like, are we supposed to always be down and out and miserable? You know what I'm saying? Do we have to? Can we basically? Let me ask a question to the panel. Why can't we embrace black success and build upon that and say nationhood is a continuation of black success? Why do we have to be always miserable and everything like that and let the coons and the fools rob our success? Now, Donald Trump's about to take credit for the black. There's going to be a lot of wealth. You watch the next 5 years. There's going to be a tremendous amount of income coming in Black America because of the low unemployment rate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to basically take that money and then build the Pan-African movement? Everybody knows. Why do you think these people want us over in Africa? They know we got a lot of money to spend. They know it. You know what I'm saying? The ball is in our court. You know what I'm saying? But we don't act like that. We don't act like we're still. Look at Yvette Carnell. She does a freaking video talking about Mama Mulata. She talks about being scarce during Thanksgiving in hard times. So in other words, basically, she's telling you just probably buy that 5-pound turkey, buy a little of this because we so poor and everything. But yet her Patreon's blown up, her PayPal's blown up, and people sending her all kinds of money. But yet black people are supposed to be so poor.
But wait, what was the question?
No. My point is this: why is it that we're always everything is so doom and gloom, down and out? Why can't we basically?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Black Wall Street in Liberia, nigga. Boom.
Yeah. Everything we do.
There you go. That's the classic retort.
You can't do that because that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
I want to take a stab at it.
That's emasculation,
I want to take a stab at it. I think, okay, so first of all, I want to say this. When I come on Facebook, and, the majority of my friends on my Dawud Muhammad profile of Black Power, it's very depressing for me. It really is, because I'm not there. I'm not a resharer of misery. So, in other words, it's not my intention to talk about Tekashi 6ix9ine being in jail every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not my intention to talk about this and that and this and that. And so I just think that we have See, here's the thing. Being a person that's been a part of the Black Power movement for so long, I pretty much know the thought process. And the thought process is that Black Power is synonymous with misery.
Mm-hmm.
What Holip calls a struggle fetish.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just think that when you come on Facebook and you start talking about alternatives, that to them, that really riles them up. Because to them, that means that you're trying to be white and that you're trying to paint a happy picture when it's not happy at all. And what we're trying to say is that it's not going to get happy till you start thinking happy.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Yeah, misery merchants.
Exactly. So the thing is, when we came up, when we all came to this conclusion in all separate ways, and you brothers and sisters in the chat room also, when we came to the conclusion that the answer to this problem is nationhood, it made us so happy. Because we understood.
You can't have that, man. Can't have that. Can't have happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna try everything in their power. Now, what you call like Rwanda's a happy country right now. You would think people will be rejoicing, right? No, we keep hearing these little snippets. But what about their business deals in the Congo? What about this? What about this? Paul Kagame's a dictator. But what about women's rights in Rwanda? They have more. The majority of Rwanda's parliament are women. Let's not talk about that part. Oh no. Let's look at something else. Paul Kagame's a Tutsi, and the Hutu. Well, most of his cabinet are both Hutu and Tutsi. They put that behind them and working together. No, we got to find something, No, but see, it's. Let me tell you something. If you think we're gonna build an Afrikan and these people are not gonna try everything they can in their power to try to throw a shade and throw doubts and everything like that, I'm telling you to the new people, they can't get to Holip and all of us, the true believers. But they can't get to you people that, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. You know what I'm saying? The true believers, they can't touch. They can't touch us. But they put doubt in it. Well, Liberia. I'm sick and tired of going on there and talking about Liberia. Well, that's what it is. See, that's how you give black people America land. They'll enslave the natives. That never happened in Liberia. You know what I'm saying? But that's an excuse.
That's the excuse. That's the
to
stalling tactic. Oh, yo, I wanted to point something out. Do y'all not realize we got Kala, Holip, and Darude on the same show?
Oh yeah.
Yo, you know what? It's when the good brother Richard Von Dixon said that in the chat room. He said it reminded him of the Blog Talk days. That's when I realized that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When's the last time that happened?
Was on Dawood's show last week talking about the superheroes,
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's right. Well, we need to. I don't want to put it out there because you know how I do. I'm the king rescheduler, but the three of us need to do a show once a week together.
Oh yeah.
I would like that.
Because first of all, I want to see the two of y'all argue.
Yeah.
But me and Colin, you know what the thing is? Me and Colin never argue on the show. We always argue like on Facebook.
I don't win this on Facebook, man.
Man, it'd be so
we never argue on the phone.
Yeah, it's always on Facebook, man. Shit. That Facebook, man. Holip does not say things to get under my skin. He was like, well, I knew this was coming. I was like, yeah, I don't like that chick in New York, the new congressman. Next thing you know, I'm a MAGA. Great. I knew he was coming with that, right? I was so freaking mad I had to calm down before I responded.
You know what it is? He's getting the collateral damage from my dealings with these Trump supporters. It's like, just shut the fuck up. This dude, you think Trump is a fucking incompetent? Like, oh, he met with us. Met with you to do what? Do finger puppets? The nigga don't know what the fuck he's doing.
This is the way I see it. This is the way I see it. This is the way I see it. The whole political establishment right now has discredited himself. Obama had 8 years, and they say, well, what did he do for black people? Well, nothing. He was president of everybody, right? Now, the same people who say, okay, now, in all fairness, black people say, you know something, I want to give Trump a chance. What did he do for black people? Well, what did Obama do? Well, Trump,
I think that whole question of what, like when you asking what have politicians done for black folks, it's a fucking stupid question to begin with.
It's always a stupid question because we're not a collective.
Yeah, you know like do for what? It's like I made the point. This girl, say what you want to about this Ocasio chick. The reason why they scared to death of her is because she beat a dude who outraised her like 10 times to what she was making. She was doing, and she was basically beat him just doing old school door-to-door politics.
Yo,
no,
and that scares them to death.
Let me ask you this, brothers. Though this is kind of like an issue that I really don't understand. What do you think about the whole? I got elected, but they voted for me. I got elected, but I don't have enough money to move into my new place. What do you think about that?
That's
What
the
the?
truth. Do you know what she was doing before she got elected?
No, what?
It's a
She was a
bartender.
bartender.
For
The
real?
most she made was like 25 a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes
Wow.
perfect sense.
Yeah, well,
Like, but she won't. I tell you one thing, she won't have that problem. When does it kick in? I'm
It's
January.
not.
30. I think it's 30 days after the election
Well, I
that
think
it
the
comes
minimum.
in.
I
No,
think
she gets paid after she's sworn in.
the congressman's salary is about 170
Yeah,
a
she
year.
like I said,
Yeah. So she'll have it. She'll
like
have it
like
in a month.
like I said, the whole thing is with her. I look at her gas right now. New York gotta own that. You know what I'm saying? New York gotta own that. But just see what she does. When somebody's a junior congressman, I remember that guy Joe Walsh. Remember that guy from Chicago? That guy was a complete
Hey,
idiot. You know
mama.
what I'm saying? You guys remember him? Joe
I heard
Walsh.
the name. I don't. I'm not
The
quite
guy was
familiar.
a complete moron. You know what I'm saying? And I don't respect congressmen too much because anyone could become a congressman. Yeah. And all you basically have to do is run, and yeah, and the way they designed Congress was a genius way that almost anybody could be a congressman. They changed every 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically almost on the most flimsy things. You don't wear your hair the right way. You know what I'm saying? Or just make one particular gaffe, you're gone in 2 years. That's the way. That's the way it is. Originally, the Senate was what they should go back to. The senators were appointed by the states. You know what I'm saying? Your two senators were appointed by the states to the national body, right? Then they changed it in the early 1900s to electing the senators. Which I think was a mistake. I think the state legislature should appoint the Senate, and I think people should have the Congress and everything. But the thing is, with black folks, is this: we live in the areas, right, where we're so scattered around and everything. Someone ask me this question: how is it that you got all these old? The Ocasio girl. I would support her if she would have unseated somebody like Charlie Rangel or somebody like that, or somebody else.
Is he still in Congress?
I have no idea.
I don't think so, bro.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Yo, but
John
let
Conyers.
me say this real quick. There is two people that can't be congressmen, Colin. You know who that is?
Who's that?
Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton.
Why is that?
They've been running for years. Did they ever make anything?
No.
They never made nothing.
And so you have the Congressional Black Caucus, right? Congressional Black Caucus, right? John Lewis, right? Almost 80 years old, does absolutely nothing. You can't tell me black people are adequately represented in the national body where the Democratic establishment controls what black politician gets to the thing. This girl Ocasio could be a good trend if black people will follow the same lead. You know what I'm saying?
They're not.
She unseated. She unseated. Can you imagine if somebody ran against John Lewis on a black power agenda or black agenda, saying we're going to do this and had a maybe after this thing? Oh, that's another thing we got to talk about. Dynas is going to be on with Dr. Mumby and Phil from the Vice Show on a big panel in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I gave Dynas a couple of talking points to talk about. And
A
he
live
also,
panel? Is this on
it's gonna be a
the
live
internet?
panel. It's gonna be a
Okay.
live panel. Yeah, it's gonna be big. And he's been invited on. And we're gonna take and the topic of a nation state, African nation state, is gonna be brought up. So it's out there. I'm saying it's gonna be out there. I said I'm tired of playing games. I want to know where everyone stands on this. Because it seems like to me it seems like if you're not serious about black people in America having a city state or nation state, to me you're not our friend. How are you going to have the Chinese moving into the African continent and taking over and everything, and you still talk about, this, that, and the other thing. We got to build Africa. It's not my responsibility to build Kenya. That's Kenya's responsibility. It's not my responsibility to build Ghana. That's Ghanaians' responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nigeria. You get the Nigerians, stop them flying around the world in Dubai. Nigerians always in Dubai. And every place else. They're all around the world and everything, and they're not building their own countries up. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what
That's
we're
why I
talking
said, Carla,
about.
I'm not trying to hear anybody that's a continental African that's here in America that's riffing against African Americans. I don't even pay attention to anything you got to say. Because first of all, you abandoned your own land and went running to somebody else's land, and now you're going to give advice?
And not only that, check this out. Not only that, they're in America trying to assimilate. And this is another thing what I don't like. They're trying to assimilate into the left wing of America, trying to be like, oh yeah, well we're gonna change. I said, what? Whoa. Yeah, look. I don't know Donald Trump fan nothing like that, but why are you worried about what Trump and immigration doing? You should be back over in Africa trying to build something. Don't you get comfortable here in America? That's part of the problem. These guys are so comfortable in America. Me and Dinus will talk about this. These guys are so comfortable in America that they have no. I said, look, I've been messing with you Liberian brothers for 10 years now. Y'all haven't gone back. You know what I'm saying? And y'all let this idiot George Weah become president. How the hell that happened? The country of Liberia is falling apart. Shit, trash all over the place. And y'all want to sit here in America and talk about, well, we got to change America. I'm like, yo, look. So in other words, basically, black people in America seem like they're telling us that we're wrong for not voting and all stuff like that, and we should be doing. Why? So we can help you guys. You guys have, like Tariq said, you African and black immigrants got something tangible to fight for in the electoral process. Because if the Democrats win, they're going to let you stay in America a little longer. That's all y'all want.
Well, another thing, my main, and y'all know where I'm going to go, because my main point has been this. What the fuck are we fighting for? There is no organized we.
True.
We don't have any socioeconomic and political context that we can deal with.
True.
So who are you talking about? Like when they say, that's why when I hear people ask politicians, you asking the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, what are you going to do for black folks? Nigga, who are you talking about?
Let me ask you this, Colin. Let me ask you this. Because, we all are of the same mind that basically Obama really didn't do anything for black people.
Right.
Okay.
Collectively.
Right, collectively. Yep.
I know where you're going with this.
What would you have liked to have seen him do while he was in office?
Okay, this is the most important thing. And I've said this many times. I want to make this very clear. The office of the civil rights thing, right? This is something the Republicans have been trying to gut since the thing was founded in 1965. 65. You know what I'm saying? 64. That organization, that office was supposed to be oversight and monitoring police departments, legislatures, juries, and everything like that, in cahoots with groups like the Southern Party. People don't understand how dangerous it is. The amount of the racial resentment white people have towards black people integrated into their society. The office of the civil rights is supposed to investigate police shootings, investigate acts of discrimination, housing discrimination, and all this stuff like that. All these things have been weakened over the years.
Right.
We have an incident right now in there was in Georgia, right, with this black pastor, right? Mm-hmm. He bought. I don't know if you guys saw the thing. He was into a store, right, in this place called a gas station called Pilot, and he got to argue with the lady because the lady said one of his parishioners was stealing. He said, "No, I got that." And he said, "Well, she ended up kicking him out." And he goes, "Well, we call the police." Next thing you know, the video stops. He called the police, and he got a summons to be banned from the property. You still have things where they got loopholes to kick you out of public places. You know what I'm saying? They can pick a fight with you inside of a store and say, we don't want you in our store and everything like that. The civil rights laws are supposed to be for a fight against that. You know what I'm saying?
So is your position that Obama should have strengthened these laws? Or
yes, and now he not only that, right? With that George Zimmerman case, right? Yeah. You can't tell me he was not thinking about his election and Hillary's re-election. Why? It was actually Hillary's election. Why? Because he did nothing.
Yep. You
know what I'm saying?
The only thing he said was, if I had a son, he would look
if I had
like
a son, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And he thought, and basically he threw black people in the state of Florida with the stand your ground and these other cases, Michael McDonald, Ferguson. That was Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got out of hand.
Well, y'all are a lot more optimistic than me. Because I didn't expect Obama to do a damn thing.
No, well, me neither. But the thing is, he came and during the election where there was a slight possibility that Trump would win. He goes in front of the NAACP and says, "It would be be understanding if this community lets this thing down and not stand up for my legacy, nigga, your legacy."
What legacy?
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, and then he's on this. Well, black folks gotta get out there and vote, and then to insult us, he brings Jay-Z and Beyonce out. They bring
Oh my
Jay-Z and
God,
Beyonce
yeah.
out.
No,
Black people said, you know something, you know what I'm saying? I don't know much about Donald Trump's politics, but you know something? We're gonna give this guy a chance.
If
And
people
I believe
don't
that's what happened.
understand, if people don't understand or don't know by now about the Democratic Party, then you just haven't been listening to my channel.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, let me
Because
ask
I've
you
been
this,
talking about the Democratic Party for the longest. The Democratic, and this is the point that I always make to let people know that they full of shit. This is supposed to be the resistance, right, against Trump.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, their whole vibe is that Trump is unhinged. He's crazy. He's got his hands on the nuclear button. We can't have it. We got to get him out of here. We got to impeach, blah, 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 blah. When it came time to pass that billion-something fucking dollar military budget, all of them motherfuckers signed off on it.
Of course.
Every judge. Oh, yeah, here, take that judge. You can put this judge in. They haven't resisted that dude one fucking iota, except with their
And
mouth.
check out, if Nancy Pelosi becomes Speaker of the House, he'll get everything
Trump
he wants.
is actually pushing for her to become
You know
Speaker of the House.
So the bottom line is,
and people gonna tell me
hold on,
about some radical left wing agenda. There is no fucking radicals in the DNC.
Hold on, let me ask this question before we continue. And this one is for Holip and probably Dendala. Why then do you think that black people, and I have to say specifically black women, but black people in generally, why do they like Michelle Obama so much?
Same reason why they liked Obama.
Yeah, shit.
Like I said, listen, Minister, the bottom line is, if you went to the average black person, or just the average person, I won't even put it on black people, I'm about to say Americans in general, and ask them when they give you a name of who they think should be president, ask them what their policy positions are. Yep. They will look at you with a blank stare and not know what the fuck you talking about.
Yep. They'd be like,
they don't even know what a policy position is. Yep. There's people floating the names of Oprah and The Rock and Mark Rubin and all the other.
It's a joke.
What? You're floating all these names. Do you know what they stand for? Do you know what policies that they're for or against?
Right. You saw that picture on my Facebook page where the person said that they want Oprah to be the president and Michelle Obama to be the vice president, right?
Yeah, and that's why I said, well, what's their policy position? Since you want you just want them to look. You know what it is? We got this hip hop, like music video reality where all you got to do is pop champagne and hold up a glass, and that's success.
Right.
It's the image of success that they like. They don't like the work that goes behind it.
Right.
Nope.
One thing I will say though, and this is one thing I agree with Yvette Carnell on, because black people all across the board were trying to say, it was like, well, Obama really couldn't do nothing because his hands was tied.
No, it wasn't.
And she said, look at all this crazy stuff that Trump is doing. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's trying to stop him. So is his hands tied too? And
listen, I will say this. His hands wasn't tied, but Obama wore a tan suit and they tore his ass up.
Yeah. But look.
So don't compare him to Trump.
But the thing is, you gotta understand something though. The way CNN is going after Trump and whatnot, Obama, except for Fox News went after Obama for 8 years. Didn't give him one single iota thing, but the rest of the news media pretty much liked Obama. Now, my point is this: behind the scenes, Obama basically. This is where it all started. Do you guys remember 1988? Do you guys remember 1988?
Yep.
Atlanta convention, Democratic Party in Atlanta. Remember that? Ultimatic said we're going to shut that shit down. Remember that?
Graduating high school.
Remember that year? That was the first year I voted. The first presidential election I voted in. You know what I'm saying?
Was that when Jesse ran?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh, yeah. And he thought he was going to get the vice presidency. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, remember that? Anyway, it was Dukakis and Lloyd Benson, whatever. Do you understand that black people actually had a political agenda? You know what I'm saying? A political agenda on the table that Dukakis and the Democratic Party it had increased minority set-asides, government funding. It had that went through Black America and these cities and everything. would have been transformed like you won't believe right to this day. That was 30 years ago. Imagine 30 years of that sort of affirmative action and set aside on steroids, right?
Right.
The problem is, here's the problem. Here's a problem, and I think Donald Trump probably gets it. You know what I'm saying? The problem is America fears the right wing more than they fear black people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think now that's starting to change a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If we bring this nationalist movement to the world stage and everything like that, and they say you got millions of black people, this is where I disagree with my brother Holip. We have to get to this point where everyone's wearing that RB to say, yes, we want a nation of our own. We're tired of America. You got millions of people saying that across social media and everything like that. America's in trouble.
But what do you disagree with, though?
No, but my point is, you say only a small percentage will participate in nationhood. I doubt that. I think like the BAIO will be a small group, right? But I do believe that if black people see this power involved in this,
we don't disagree.
The pendulum.
We don't disagree. I'm saying initially it's going to be 5%.
Yeah. But the whole thing is, when that happens, right? That happens. People say, "Wow, you got a national." Look what's going on in Nigeria right now. Nigeria is paralyzed because you got nationalist movement undermining the country. A nationalist movement. Let me tell you something. J. Edgar Hoover, you know what he said? He said, if the Negro engages in any sort of nationalism, he'll be a dead Negro. He didn't say nothing about you being a drug dealer or heroin pusher or pimp and everything. You'll be a dead Negro. But if you talk about nationalism, you dare raise your fist against the American flag or whatever like that, or don't recognize the sovereignty and your subjugation to this republic, you are a dead Negro. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's
I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
It's just an observation of mine. I don't think that these people are used to us. Because if you notice, the only people that really attacks us is like these little minions.
Yeah.
They ain't really the big dudes. I know they know of us. How come nobody's stepping up to the plate to attack us?
They know better.
I think so. I agree with you.
When you say big dudes, who do you mean, bro?
Anybody that's known. Yvette Carno knows who I am by now. I got into it with her on Facebook, so she knows about the BAIO.
Right.
Or anybody who has a name out here.
No, because they stay away from us. And this is what I do is this. It's like this: when you study martial arts, study kung fu, and everything. Kung fu is all about harmony. When you do combat, you'll say somebody throw the strongest punch at you, you absorb it. You don't try to deflect it, whatever like that. You accept it, redirect it, and flow it. So in other words, it's like you're creating one whirlwind. Your power becomes one. You block and you connect, and his punches are it's like it's amazing how it works, right? When somebody throws a jab at me or whatever like that, I'll say, okay, I'll accept that. I accept it. What are you saying? Well, why? Because a lot of times when people feel strong about something, they might have a legitimate point, right? What a lot of people do when they debate somebody, right? The person can say the sky is blue. Just because you don't like that person, they'll say, no, I think the sky is actually pink.
Yeah, that's what you call a hack. Somebody who does that.
You know what my opinion on it is of the bigger names. Now, mind you, we have a lot of friends. I think that I don't think that we realize how many people really support us. Like I saw the other day where even brother O'Shea Duke Jackson wanted to do a show with Collar.
Oh yeah, yes.
And I don't know what happened.
That show.
Collar fronted on him. You know what
I didn't front.
No, I'm just playing with you. You probably was busy.
He just does stuff sporadically. I know he wanted me to do something that day, but I'm gonna get in touch with him. Maybe when the holidays clear up and stuff like that, I want to definitely do a show. And I want to be prepared for that show. Really prepared.
But what I would have to say, what I want to say is that, oh my God, what was that?
And let me know when you do a show on that show. Just let me know because the chances of some idiot coming on there trying to go against you is high, and I'm gonna be right there to light they ass up.
I think it'll just be him and Carl though. But I just want to say that I support Brother Shaw. I support the Negro Manosphere. Yeah. He does I agree with a lot of what he says. So we have a lot of friends. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to say. He always shouts Collar when he's in the chat room. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. So I think we have a lot of friends. But the thing is, for me, I think that nationhood is a blue ocean strategy. And if you're not familiar with what that terminology is, basically what they tell you is a blue ocean strategy is when you choose to go into an area that is underrepresented by other like companies and industries and you clean up. I really feel like the reason why some of the big names don't really touch us is because we ain't talking about what they talk about, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't see it as even worth it to address. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, because
I'll,
if we're just
Wow.
hold on, let me just finish. If we're just gonna say that, well, they know better, they know better. Nah, they don't, because they get into some ignorant stuff with each other
oh
that
yeah,
almost damages their whole reputation and nukes their whole career, and then they get into another one the next week.
yeah,
And I just be sitting there like, what is wrong with you guys?
yeah.
I just think
Did you listen to that show with Nyla the other How We End White Supremacy?
no, I
Lord,
didn't.
that's so like 10 years ago of us.
You got
How
to
we
send me that link.
oh
Yeah, but you know what?
Who is that?
Sister Nyla, she's good, but she had a whole panel. It must have been like 30, 15 Negroes on there, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta get it," and they were like talking about, "Oh, we gotta go to war, and y'all, you're not prepared for war." So y'all
Yeah,
got,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, that was right after Holip did that show about Negroes. It was just this past week. Y'all ain't ready for no war. Shut up. Remember that show?
Yeah.
But the
Yo,
whole thing.
but see, Colin, see, this is. I think we lost him. Are you still there?
Yeah, he's there. I think something his
Oh,
line is.
okay, cool. Well, let me take this opportunity. Um, um, to me, that's what I'm glad he brought that up though. That's what I'm trying to say. We are not in the same time zone as a lot of these people. A lot of who have their own shows and do their own things. We're not in the same time zone as them. They are still back in the mid 2000s and the late 90s talking the same stuff that people have been talking for years.
Oh
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, for them to address nationhood, I don't even think they know how to attack the concept
no.
because you know what I'm saying. So yes, I do think that they know what time it is, but at the same time, I don't even think it's worth their time. They're not going to get it. Let me just
It
let
takes
me try to
hard work.
yeah
Nature means
let me try
work.
to explain a little bit better. Not only are they not into it, but the people who listen to them don't give a shit about it.
Hmm.
So if they was to attack the BAIO and say, "Oh, they talking nation, this, that, and next thing," to be honest with you, bro, like ain't nobody gonna listen to that because nobody is really focused on. Again, a lot of our friends, the Information Man Show, you know what I'm saying? O'Shea Duke Jackson, the Negro Manosphere, we're in the present time. We're talking about present issues that's relevant. You know what I'm saying? Search for Uhuru. Those of us and all of our friends, we're doing, but there's a lot of people still stuck in the late 90s. And I'll give you an example. You know that, from who I am, that I come from the Nation of Islam culture. And every once in a while, I do my thing locally, but I generally don't try to link up with people on Facebook or nationally because I think people are in a time warp and they're back, in the past. So every once in a while, I get the temptation to go and say, what these niggas doing? And I will go to certain people's circles. Yo, dudes are still like one of my friends had sent me a video. Do you know dudes are still running up on people in Canada asking them what's today's mathematics?
That's what science God,
I
knowledge
say,
God.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
you really spent money to do that, my nigga? You spent money to go to another country to question a dude on his lessons? And when you look at, bro, that video was made last month.
Hmm.
So when you look at something like that, then you have to ask yourself, why are when you ask yourself why these people ain't trying to come at us or whatever, we're not talking about the same thing. We're not talking about the same thing, brother. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
we're in a
people.
different world.
Yeah, they stuck in the NAACP, Urban League, civil rights mentality, man. And
Yeah.
when we talk about this, we're just dreamers, and we need to wake the hell up and get back to building this nation in America.
Yeah, and I don't see exactly what they're. I don't see exactly what. Let me give you an example.
Let's
I
get
don't
this
see.
nation built.
Tessa, I don't see what exactly they're building. One thing I've noticed. I noticed something yesterday. Yesterday, right? I was in a section of Norfolk called Ghent. Right? It's a real trendy area, but the area is old. Some of the buildings were built back. If you look at like old movies from like the night Humphrey Bogart or whatever like that, movies from the 20s, whatever. Some of these buildings and everything are completely preserved from way back then, built back in 1905 or whatever like that, you know.
Right.
And so the whole neighborhood is all white. You know what I'm saying? It's a trendy area. They got the little boutiques outside. And look, I was saying to myself, I just came to the conclusion, man. I said to myself yesterday, y'all won. And then the area across from is called Park Place, right? All hell breaks loose in Park Place. Can I tell you the demographics of that neighborhood? Black. But the thing is, ODU, the big giant college, is creeping in towards that area, 27th Street, and Getting's expanding, right? Which means Negroes are being moved out. And I tell the black people who live there all their life, I represent Park Place. But the bottom line, you see young white kids, young white couples, they the same neighborhood you thought that was so hard, street and everything. They got nice little paved streets now. Their little white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids are out there with their little swings and everything. Those are neighborhoods you guys used to have for generations. Now you guys are losing that. They got a good deal on the HUD home and everything, and they could build now a community. You know what I'm saying? Of gentrified community because they have the gene spread to do it. What I call gene spread, I mean the people. There's what they call the complexion for the success, whatever.
Protection.
Protected for the protection. They know there's going to be a whole army of people like them are going to move in. You know what I'm saying? Where black people are just the opposite. We're trying to move an area where people aren't like us.
Right.
You know? So how are you going to win? How are you going to win when they're all about preserving themselves and you're trying to be out for yourself? And you talking about you're going to rise up and take on white supremacy. Get the fuck out of here. Get the entire
Like I said,
out of
we don't believe you. You need more people. You're lying. You're full of shit. You ain't gonna do shit. And for all of these niggas, like, oh man, I can't. The funny part about it is I'm kind of handcuffed because the niggas that I really want to blast is nobody's anyway. So you ain't gonna get no bite off of me.
Yeah.
I ain't even giving you a fucking any type of attention. Get your weight up, nigga, and then come holler at me.
Word.
Yep.
Yo, so this well, I just want to say peace to this good brother, Chief Drino. I've never seen him before, but he is BAIO all the way.
Oh yeah. He donated to Dinah
Chief
Show.
Drino.
Yeah, he's in the BAIO. Yeah, oh yeah.
Peace, brother.
Because he just left to go to work, and goddamn, I gotta subscribe to his channel. But yeah, I just, brother, that's what I'm saying is like, y'all got to realize, like, I think that I've been the person that has been a part of the movement the longest. You know what I'm saying? As far as the underground kind of, that shit, because I've been there since 1991. And I'm telling you, and if I haven't, I'm not saying anything to pump myself up because I'm not proud of that shit. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that I am telling y'all they are in a different different timeline. Like they're not up to date, and a lot of people are trying to bring it. There's two dynamics you have. You have the people that are trying to keep it going, and then you got young people who nobody told nothing, and they're trying to actually take on the reins. And it's like, bro, we don't want you to come in and do this. We're trying to transition into a higher level, which is nationhood. And I got a couple of people on the local level who wasn't a part of the golden age of the conscious community or the golden age of Islam and the golden age of all that other stuff. And they're like, now it's my turn. And I'm like, no, it's not your turn, bro. Like, you are going to
do what?
To become a leader in that movement and have people praise them and have 1,000 black tongues.
Wow. Wow.
To quote your video.
That's
what
they're going for. Wow.
Yes, bro.
That's crazy.
So, I don't know, man, but it is what it is. Anyway, let me get out of here because I got to go to the gym and I got to go see my mentor, aka the Oracle. And
oh yeah.
Yo,
I'm getting ready to bounce out too because it's on after 2.
Great, good program today.
Yo,
what were you gonna say, Minister?
I was going to say, where's Bell at?
Dundada?
Bell.
Oh, Belle. Belle has been busy, man.
Yeah, I miss her, man. I really do.
Yeah,
Like,
I told her she's still with us, but she's been like her job is really like kicked up a notch. So that's what she's been doing.
Demanding. Yes,
Yeah.
demanding job. It has its spurts.
yeah, I kind of miss her, you know. Not kind of, I do miss her.
Oh yeah, I told her I miss her.
Oh
But,
yeah.
you know, I mean, the thing is that I know that, you know, you got to do what you got to do, man. And when, you know, that takes priority over anything because too many of us, we decided it's about the movement and fuck around and have nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. That's why I don't ever. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I don't ever complain about people handling their business. Handle it, man.
Check this out. This is what one thing I do like. I love about this is that like O'Shea even said it on his show. We talked about the BAIO, and he said, "Yeah, I listened to Collie the other night." He said, "And why can't you walk and talk to government at the same time?" In other words, basically, you could talk about nation building, but why can't you go to college, get a skill, do all those things, build a family, all those things you talk about here at the same time, support the idea of nationhood? Why is that?
Because I know why. Because they don't teach nuance in the conscious community. It's not about nuance. It's
Everybody
about
got to get up,
gray,
pack up
black,
tomorrow,
and
and leave.
white. Everything is black and white.
Yep.
You know what
So
I'm
if
saying?
you
gotta
work in
pack up
corporate
tomorrow.
America, you a sellout nigga. You in the military, you a sellout nigga. You got a degree, you a sellout nigga. I guess the only people that ain't sold out is the motherfucker that's in the street.
Yeah.
That's the
Basically,
only person.
I'm in these
And I'm
streets.
talking about homeless. I'm not just talking about in the streets, you know, like I'm talking about you ain't got no job, no
and be all
house,
fairness,
but you
most of them
kept
are
it
homeless.
real. You kept it real. So the ultimate
Most of them are
goal
homeless.
to be a real nigga in America is to be homeless.
Yeah, they have nothing.
Yo, remember Black Achievement used to get on us about that back in the day. He used to say these brothers got good jobs. I don't know why you're talking about moving to Africa.
And now I think Black
Oh,
T.
Lord.
Last time I talked to him, he says, you know, so I think I might take this position. Opens up over the continent, man. You convinced me. Last time I talked to him, you know what I'm saying? Last time I talked to him, so it tells you right there. This message when you have something real, you know what I'm saying? When you have something real and tangible, and he said, yeah, you know, he's getting offers, you know what I'm saying? Because he does coding and he does licensing for coding. He's a lawyer. He does licensing for
he does.
coding.
And Black Achievement does intellectual property, bro.
Yeah, property. So he said, man, I said, man, you could take your thing to Nigeria, your ball in Nigeria and become a billionaire, Black Achievement, you know? But you're trying to build something, yeah, but America, I'm like, dude, man, you could do that. But look overseas too.
But
Look at the Chinese.
I would think that
Chinese are everywhere. You know, they're ubiquitous.
I always thought that he was the ideal person we was looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we're looking
yeah.
for a guy like him that's smart, you know, that invested in his career, became good at what he does, and you know. But I think that what I think happened with him is I think that he tried to join a couple of groups back in the day.
Right. And that's what it is.
Yeah, they wanted to put his black ass out there in the streets.
Yeah, they want to sell paper. They had him out there selling papers and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, because if you're in the conscious community, you got to get in them streets.
They did,
You gotta
bro.
start.
He said that on my show.
Yeah, you got to start at the bottom.
This is my first dealing with Black Achievement. Black Achievement came on my show. I was doing a show talking about the corner store and how the corner store is like pretty much the worst part of the hood because you know everything that you see of evil generally starts in the corner store. And he came on my show and he said to me, and I'll never forget it because it was on. He said, brother, he said, well, you're one of the smartest dudes on Blog Talk Radio. And he said to me, but I don't know why you're doing what you're doing because if you choose to do something for your family, he was like, you're going to be messed up for a long time. He said, but the thing is that the movement that you have, the problem with your movement is y'all not hiring. and what he was saying was right. It was right. I wasn't there yet, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got you. I got something even deeper for you, son.
Go ahead.
It don't matter if you hiring.
Why you say that?
Because I pay people and they still don't give you the work.
Nah, you're right about that. You're definitely right about that.
So even hiring them don't make it. It's like the only thing that I feel is a motivator is if I'm around people of like mind. I'm not like for me, the convincing niggas and trying to trick and manipulate niggas into doing. I'm not doing that shit. Let me get around somebody that got some goddamn.
Hell yeah. And yo,
I'm
you
at
know
the
what?
stage of the game. That's all I'm concerned about.
I wanted to say to y'all. I guess I'll say it to y'all now. job in the industry.
Wait, say that again. I think you broke up.
I said, I got my son a job in the industry. So my son is going to come and work with me in the industry.
Cool.
That's what's up, man.
Cool. Passing it on.
That is one of my proudest moments, man, because he was playing around for a long time. Because when you get 19 and you graduate from school and you discover girls, wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been out there discovering girls, and I was like, yo, you're gonna get to a point, man, where you're gonna be mopping that floor, and you too smart for that shit. And I think sometimes either you got to let your children go through that before they come around, because you'll have your children that I'm going to do a show on this next week. Is going to be called Raising Black Boys in the New Black Nation as a father. But I think sometimes you have your children that want to follow in your footsteps and do what you do, and then you have that one or two children that just needs a little bit convincing. But one thing I would say to all of you in the chat room who are BAIO and you about Nationhood and you got children and you may be worried, your children they have your DNA. You do not have to worry. You do not have to worry. If you think your children is going to go out there and be criminals and shit like that, they may try that life, but ultimately they're your children, and the switch is going to go off in their head, and they're going to realize, man, I'm not about this bullshit. My dad is so-and-so. But you got to be patient if they go into that lifestyle or a lifestyle that you don't approve of, because if you scream on them or whatever, you may turn them away for good. So it's sort of like a tiptoe that you go through where you remind them who they are, but you allow them to make their own mistakes. So, make a long story short, my son went out there and he worked at Walmart or whatever, but he wanted to be in my industry, and finally he just got tired of showing up to mop floors. And so I finally allowed him, because once you get a good reputation in the industry, people want to hire your children. You know what I'm saying? But it's better if you can create a business for yourself and you hire your children. But if you're not in that position yet, there's nothing wrong with you getting your child a job in the industry until you can get your own business and you can hire them.
Yep.
Right.
And this is where I think the BAIO is a lot more flexible than a conscious community group, because in the conscious community group, you would be shamed if your child got a job and they didn't get a business, even though you didn't have a business.
Yeah.
You understand?
Now we can't all have businesses. Some of us got to work. You got to bring that initial money in. That initial money in from the system. And invest in business. That's the whole idea. Let me say this. The whole idea is there's going to be $2 trillion to maybe in the next 20 years, $3 trillion coming through Black America. If we can get like 5% of that invested in stocks, bonds, mutual funds,
where are you getting that from?
That's just the income level. It is. Black America. There's a lot of money and wealth in Black America. We keep this if Black America stops spending. Remember something. Black America, we're the only group of people that don't have savings. We don't have investments. We don't have none of that. All our money goes to consumerism. This is what keeps all this going. You know what I'm saying? Sears and Roebuck found that out. Black America is what keeps America thriving. The gas, the entertainment, everything is Black America. Why? Because we don't have anything invested long term. We don't have educational institutions invested. We don't have long term things invested. We don't have infrastructure invested. Now, if we start our mindset start changing, and we start investing and everything like that, just a cultural change, a shift, right? 5% of our income, our wealth, or whatever we have, and we start putting that into investments and whatnot, we could raise literally billions of dollars a year for what we want to do in Africa easily.
I get the feeling you disagree.
What happened?
I said I get the feeling you disagree.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where he getting the $3 trillion figure from, because that's
I'm
like
talking about another 25
triple.
Years. Another 25 years.
No, that's what I'm asking, because from what I heard, our income is going down.
No.
Not up.
That's a false. That was during the first years of Obama. That was a projection during the first years of Obama when the economy was tanking. Now things are back on the upper trip. There's 2.5 million Black men in the top 5% income in America.
We got
2.5
we got to
billion.
crunch our numbers together because I'm getting something
Yeah.
totally like because I know that they talk about the first of all this whole thing about the economy is bullshit because wages are stagnant, unemployment is low, but the wages have not risen. So it's a lot of tricks to that shit that they doing, and
But the
it's
thing is,
basically
but the
just
thing, but you gotta
Donald
understand
Trump
something.
and the
But check this
Republicans.
out. Hold on, but you gotta understand something about Black America. Black America is different than other people. You know what I'm saying? Other people in America, right? When wages, our wages are different than everybody else's. Why? Because Black people tend to live differently than other people. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, if you have Black people, 3 or 4 adults may live in a house. You know what I'm saying? And they have a lot of money, whatever, like this, that, the other thing. White people, they cannot sustain, they cannot live on what we live in America, or we live in America. They can't do it. You know what I'm saying? They got money
And they
tied up
never
in
will,
this.
actually.
They never will, you know? But like I said, when you come down to a place like here, Virginia, and stuff like this, it is, the Black community over here, they own homes. It's pretty much a thriving Black community. There's a lot of Black businesses here, and there's a lot of income. Is outside of the big cities like Philly and New York and everything. There's a lot of there's a huge number of Black people that are entering the working and middle class here. You know,
Well,
so
yo,
it's
let me ask you this question. Let me ask you along the lines of what you're talking about, and this is for you and Holip and then Dada too. I want to hear your opinion. Now, there's two camps out there when it comes to money. There's the minimalists, and then there's those who believe that it's about abundance. So, in other words, minimalists believe that life is about finding a deal and budgeting and things like that, and living as minimal as you possibly can, no matter how much money you make. The people who live with the abundance mindset believe that whatever it is you want, however you want, you basically have to just go out there and provide more income and get more income. So, you on the one hand, you got your Grant Cardones who believe it's all about just going out there, working harder, and getting more money. Then you have other people who are minimalists who believe that you should live at the bare minimum. It doesn't matter how much money you have, and just basically conserve and only buy what you need, and then maybe splurge on one or two things that you like that you really need. What side do you fall on?
let me go first. I'll say it like this. This is why I believe in living within your means, right? Saving, and then when you have enough money, save, invest. Like I said, there's all kinds of investment opportunity you can get into on a small scale. You know what I'm saying? I believe
Right.
in having that income level and having your bills paid, your taxes straightened out, and all stuff like that. If your basic needs are met and everything, what you have left over and everything, you got a side hustle and everything like that. You take that investment, and then next wow, you're not I see. I learned from watching other people do it. They like this. You say this guy got 10 homes. But you see him every day at the gas station. He got the same beat up truck. You know what I'm saying? He didn't go
Yep.
buy a
Yep.
Mercedes Benz and stuff like that.
Yep.
I want to be that dude. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He's not
Yep.
flashy. Let me say this, and this goes back to the topic of the thing. A lot of this is something not just for African Americans, but Africans too. We have this thing in our culture that's been with us for 1,000 years. We like to look big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's in Africa. In Africa, it's the same way. They call in Liberia, the term is called the tunu. Tunu means big shot. That's mean the man that has a lot of jewelry, nice clothes, and everything. He has money. He's called a canoe. That means big shot. This big shot mentality called big man, a big man, big shot mentality has always been in black culture. You know what I'm saying? But white people, when they'll go and they'll be a billionaire, but you'll see them. Look at Bill Gates. Look at this guy that owns Mark Zuckerberg. When you see them, how they look?
Plain.
Plain. You know what I'm saying? But look what Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent and all these other people, how they look when they're out.
They
They
look
got
like $1 million.
jewelry and
Yep.
stuff like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know what though? The older that those guys get, the more they look like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg.
No,
Though.
but I see them as the same thing. They got the same thing. I see Snoop the same thing. The
No,
whole
brother.
jewelry.
If you see Jay-Z now, he comes out with a T-shirt and a pair of beat-up
Oh,
jeans.
because he's trying to be like them. Jay-Z's smart. He's from New York. He's trying to be like them. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to be like the Mark Zuckerberg's, the Robert De Niro's and stuff like that. He's trying to be like that. Like show up in a T-shirt. Or I'm Jay-Z now. I don't have to flash. He's the
Right.
exception. He's the exception.
So let me hold on. Let me ask Holip. What is your? Holip just went on mute.
I'm here.
What is your philosophy? Are you a minimalist or are you an abundance guy?
I'm a live within your means guy.
Okay.
That's me. And I also believe that you can't save until you get rid of the debt. Like people that have a lot of debt can't save because
Right.
you're trying to pay off the debt and save at the same. It doesn't work.
Right.
Put your money toward the debt, get your debt going, and then you can save. But
Right.
I live within my means. Like a lot of people at my gig really invest a lot into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is when overtime it isn't available, then you're suffering.
Yep.
Because then you've adjusted your lifestyle to something that's not consistent.
Overtime.
Right.
I haven't heard that term in years.
Yeah,
We don't have that down in Virginia, bro.
yeah, they have it at my job. People be killing themselves. Or I do not do. I'm trying to eliminate being there, let alone being there for extra
when I was
hours.
living in New York, at overtime. I remember my father. His job overtime was like a second job. You know what I'm saying? That's how much money he made. When down here in Virginia, we don't have that. You don't have it's a right to work state. There's no such thing as overtime. They'll make sure that whatever that overtime is supposed to be, they're gonna get that out of you within 40 hours.
Word up.
Well, I'm in a
Bro.
union shop, so overtime goes with the territory.
Oh, union, forget it. That don't even say that word in this state. You know,
Yo, but
shot.
let
You know
me
what I
tell
don't
you my philosophy.
understand?
What's that?
You know what I don't understand? Why are Republicans? Why do people in unions vote for Republicans?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
because of black people. And like I said, 1988, the Democratic Party said, we can't let this happen again. We got so many white people that are unionized who are voting Republican. And why? Because they see black people success, affirmative action as a threat to them, even
But
though
wait, but don't they see that the Republicans are trying to get rid of the unions?
Yeah.
it does not matter, bro. It's the whole thing is black people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's black
Wow.
people. It's all
They
about
just see
black
color.
power.
Wow,
It's all about
that's
color, man.
amazing. That is stunningly stupid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, well, let me give my opinion. Then I gotta bounce because I'm at the gym. I don't necessarily believe in minimalism, but I do believe in. Okay, so my dad, like y'all know my dad. My dad's in the BAIO, and he's your friend on Facebook, caller.
Yeah.
And my dad, when I was younger, when I remember at some point I thought that I was smarter than my mom and started talking crazy. So my mom was like, "You could get out," and I went to go live with my dad on the other side of Brooklyn because I'm from Coney Island and my dad lived in Clinton Hill. So anyway, when I went to go live with my dad freaking, I only had like what clothes I had on. I had all my designer clothes that I worked all summer for was at my mom's house. So my dad said, okay, well, you ain't got to go back over there. I'll go take you shopping. I was like, word? So we went shopping. My dad took me to Kmart in New Jersey. So we go to Kmart, and that's a shock for me because I'm used to, I was living with my mom, and I'm used to buying designer clothes and stuff like that. My dad went and bought me, at the very least, he bought me like a $60 pair of Nikes. He bought me a whole bunch of different pairs of Kmart, which would now be considered Walmart pants or whatever. So now I had 5 pairs, I had 5 school sets, for the 5 days a week, but it wasn't the designer, like the Tommy Hilfiger and the polo stuff that I had worked all summer and bought from Secaucus, New Jersey, because they had no state tax. And when I got older, that mentality came back to me, and I lived that mentality because I never was the kind of guy, like, you see me with suits on Facebook and stuff like that. I got the same, I had the same 8-9 suits since 2000 and I want to say 2009. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way it is. I believe in living within your means. I believe also that when it comes to overtime, I used to be a guy that worked overtime, stuff like that. Somebody's sleeping.
No, I think that's Kala. Kala's
Nah, Kala ain't sleeping.
clearing his throat
no.
and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway,
Yeah,
what I believe in is this. Like I said, as I got older, what I realized is that the overtime that you was using, building somebody else's company, you could be using, researching, and getting more skills for yourself.
Yep.
And so if you work overtime for the white man, it's a short term, it's a short term gain because you get a little bit more money, which is really not that much. But if you work overtime for yourself, then you could leave his job, start your own business or start your own side hustle or whatever you need to do. But when I was younger, I would fall into that trap. I would be like, yo, I'm doing 50 hours, 60 hours. And I'd be proud of that. And I didn't realize that even if you do 90 hours, he's still going to fire your black ass. He don't care about you. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that the hard way. So I'm never going to come on no show and be like, I've always thought this way. Nah, I went through all of those different kind of mental paradigms, because when I was living with my mom, I was living flashy. But then I started taking on my dad's philosophy, and I started to become a lot more conservative. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I was into just working my ass off and working overtime. But when I got older, I realized, no, get off at the time you're supposed to get off. Go home, crack those books open, get yourself certified so you could either offer more to another company or offer more to your own business. And that's really what it's all about. All right, big brother, I got to get going. I love y'all.
I got to go too, y'all, because my food is coming.
I hear that.
Gotta eat.
Say peace to the queen for me, please.
Yes.
And Carla, I'll get up with you, and big brother Dendati, you know what it is.
Right.
See y'all later.
Peace.
All right,
Peace,
y'all. Peace.